everyone? It's Dante Suave, United World of Sports, episode 44. Moving right through this thing. Whew, my God, my God, my God. Can we please get some consistency
No, no, and it makes it great.
in the NCAA's and especially in the NFL? Good
No, that's what
Lord.
makes it great.
Oh man.
What makes it
Oh,
great.
but I will say this. Thank you, Micah Parsons, for making sure that I won yesterday because for the most part, y'all had Jacoby Brissett. Once again, he's proving that if you can get him behind a decent offensive line, can we get him up behind the same kind of line that they done put Darnold behind, that they done put Baker behind, so that we can see what he can do, so that we quit for like a few games. You block good, and he show himself, and then all of a sudden you just start going back downhill, and then everybody just basically just stop talking about him. Like, why is he still being picked up by anybody in the league? We got to stop that. We got to start giving these quarterbacks, no matter where they were drafted, we got to start giving them some halfway decent lines. But for we will get to that. First of all, we're gonna start off with some baseball. Yeah, I also need to learn to speak up because when you said that the Mariners had that series in the bag, I did not think that they had it in the bag.
To
And
win, okay, so to win, and it's funny because we're having this conversation today. Is the 35th anniversary of the Reds' last championship.
Okay.
And they went into the team that was odds-on favorite to win, and they swept them. The craziest part about that sweep was they went into Oakland during the Bash Brothers era and swept them out of there. When this whole series started last week, Seattle went into Toronto and took two of them from there.
And that's made it look easy.
It made it look easy. That's why I was like, oh, shoot. If they're making it look this easy, then it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But then they proceeded to go back and forth and only win one more game out of the next four. So it was like, what the heck?
Right. But I just had a feeling based upon how Toronto's season had gone. I think I might have watched like one or two games, but the way that they kind of, for the most part, they had hitters, and they hitters wasn't hitting in them first two games. That was the only reason why I didn't completely agree with you, because I was like, wait a minute, what's gonna happen if they hitters start hitting? And sure enough,
it wasn't even that. Their pitchers shut down Seattle. Their pitcher, the pitcher last night, Yesavage.
Yeah,
I was looking at it as Yes Savage because it looked like it was this Yes and Savage.
Right.
So the way that he was dealing yesterday, there was no way that Seattle could do anything from it. And all they have to do is turn and mash, especially if they're at Seattle's already a home run ballpark. And that's all they was doing was just turning and mashing, turning and mashing,
right,
turning and mashing. So it was, and Lil Guerrero is like, hey, Lil Guerrero's doing some old Dominic Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero type stuff right now, paying homage because he turned on that one, and I was like, I'm watching it yesterday because I had it up and the Atlanta San Francisco game. I'm trying to pay attention to that, and I look over, I'm like, oh damn,
yeah.
It just was like, okay, yeah, good job, yeah, it's a wrap. We got game 7, and the worst thing about it is, y'all just got pushed to a game 7, and the Dodgers been at home chilling.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers, with the Dodgers being home chilling, that means Shohei Ruth has been chilling. And that game, did you watch that game 4?
Mm-mm. No, actually, yeah.
The one where he was pitching and hit the 3 home runs.
Yeah, I was all over the place. I was watching that game Friday night, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. I had that game up on my phone, and on my other phone I had a college game, and on my small TV I had a college game, and I was playing Bleach. So I was all over the place. But yeah,
It was
I
over here.
was yeah. But yeah,
I
that one was pretty much it was clear that nothing was happening on the Brewers end at all. So and I felt kind of bad for him. I'm like, man, you did all
I
that
don't feel
work.
bad for Milwaukee. What
You
the
did
heck?
you
I
put in
don't.
all that work and this is not even a
It
contest.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because here's the thing: when you can roll out, and you have to think about it, this is not the Dodgers of 5 years ago that was rolling out and going to World Series where they was giving the ball to Kershaw. This is you got Otani, you got Snell, you got the one is it Taka? I think it's Takahashi or Todoroshi, 1 and 2. You got him. They got they got 3 people that they can roll out in a rotation and just say, all right, try me. And then on top of that, Otani, even if he's not pitching, you gotta worry about his bat. So not only can he throw 100 miles an hour at you, he can hit the ball back at you 110 miles an hour and make it look pretty easy. This is not. I hope people are taking into account that they're this is probably going to be one of the best players that you've ever seen post steroid era. And the steroid era kind of made it to where we watched our heroes and then we questioned our heroes.
Yeah.
Shohei came from overseas and sat there, and most of the time when they come from overseas, it's like, all right, well, he ain't gonna do nothing. He's actually exceeded expectations since he came over here.
And
And it's
that and that did make me want to ask you a question, but go ahead.
and it's just it's to the point to where like when he came over, I was like, all right, I don't understand what the hype is about. And then after watching him play, I'm like, goodness gracious, this how can you throw 100 and hit 100? And then at the same time he was coming up is when we had Hunter Green in our farm system right out of college, and he was doing the same thing. But they told Hunter Green they want him to focus on being a pitcher. And part of me wonders is did that kind of hinder Hunter and his growth because he had been doing both of them for so long to make him focus on one. Part of his mechanics might have been complemented by him doing the other. So now it's like, okay, now you got him focus on this. How does it? He has to change his mechanics of what he was doing, and he was probably used to playing every single day. That's a hard rhythm to get out of if you're used to playing every single day, or at least DHing to where you were swinging a bat every single day. Plus, you can sit there. I think for me, if I'm out there batting and I can see where pitchers are throwing pitchers and looking at the scouting reports and how they change their eye levels and everything else, for me as a batter, that goes into my mental computer in order for me to adjust that for when I'm pitching to say, oh, okay, let me try this and see if this works for me. And that adds more to my repertoire. So it's and especially now with them going to where it's a DH in both leagues. Before National League, you had to bat. Now you don't have to bat. So you basically taking the bat out of somebody that could easily hit. There was a time to where Hunter Green was averaging probably the same amount of home runs that De La Cruz hit, and we won't never know that as a pro because they're not gonna let him do that unless something happens and they say, well, he can't pitch anymore. Then he might go out into the field and do it for a while. Who knows? But they're not even gonna try to get to that point. But what was your question? What did you have?
So what made it come to my mind was I was flipping through ESPN earlier trying to find because for some odd reason when they even before they did this recent and became ESPN Unlimited, they
Mm-hmm.
did something with the replay section. And it kind of annoys me because
They made it to
um
where it was like Instagram.
hard to find.
Yeah.
It's like I can barely find it anymore. I don't think that they have it where they can do that anymore. You just have to check it when they do the quote unquote the re-air, which I say put that section back because that that's something that as I told you before, that's something that I was wanting to really get into in terms of doing a doing the show. But anyway, so as we've noticed, and it spans over most if not all of the popular sports here in America. Are we looking at a situation where natural born Americans aren't the top dogs anymore in the sports.
Yes.
And
I'm quick to say that. Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that I was seeing, because like I said, I started looking at the UFC because they put the re-air of Pereira and Magadev.
Yeah.
And
The one that he knocked out in 90 seconds. Is it
who
that one
who
or is it
knocked out
the
who?
first fight? Pereira won the rematch in 90 seconds. The first
Okay.
fight went the distance.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get to finish watching it. But yeah, I was gonna watch that, and I was just seeing, kind of getting up to date, and they were just showing all the names, all the champs, all the guys that's really doing something. And I didn't see not one American. And I'm like, I we can get mad as we want at the fact that this is happening, but this is once again, this is another one of them reasons why I don't like swag. I
I
don't
wouldn't.
I don't like the swag. And let me explain what I mean by that. A lot of these guys that are taking over, their level of just overall respect and discipline. Like, yeah, you have Conor McGregor. Name somebody else that's a champion that acts like Conor McGregor. It don't happen often. You can give me Patty Pimblett, but again, that's two people out of how many people that's in the UFC, and just they're being a problem. And it just whether we like it or not, basic fundamentals, whether it be from a mental, moral standpoint, or whether it be from the physical, you have to, the basic fundamentals. There's one straight road that works more often than not. Yes, you can go all these other type of directions. There's other types of paths where you can be successful, but the ones that are the most successful are the ones that go in that one straight path. That's been a straight path, and it's always been a thing since the beginning of people being successful. That's why they said this is the way to go. Now, you can look at those other ways, and you can try those other ways, and nobody's saying clearly there's other ways to be successful. I mean, heck, even though he didn't get a championship, God, he had so much mouth, and he is so annoying. Anderson beat him twice. The American, they called him the American.
It wasn't the guy from here?
No, no, no. Oh, no, 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 not Rich Franklin. Now Rich Franklin, he was just a victim of beating Ken Shamrock. Because as soon as he beat Ken Shamrock, they tried to put him up there like he was all
Yeah.
that, and then Anderson showed up, and that was all but done. So, uh, he still continued to have success, but you knew at that point it's like, yeah, at best he's like co-main eventer, and that's not diminishing his skills, because you're a co-main eventer. You still somebody that you probably don't want to fight on the street, but
Right.
but at the same time, you're not at that level of like the long running champions either. So,
I can't
man,
remember who it was that he fought against in there for it.
he fought him twice, and the dude is hated in Brazil. Why I cannot think of his name right now is really annoying me.
It was Anderson Silver fought him.
Yeah, and everybody in Brazil wanted to kill him because of what he said to Anderson the second fight. He
Oh
said
God, who was it?
after he won the championship, he said he was gonna go to his house and bend his wife over the ironing board in front of his kids. And I said, Anderson, you better kill him. And I said no, ain't no way. There would be no match, because he would not be able. If I know me and him are in the same vicinity, there ain't gonna be no fight, because y'all gonna fire me.
It wasn't Chael.
Yeah, that's who it was. Thank you.
It was Chael.
Yes, it was Chael.
Okay. Oh yeah. Then yeah, Chael something.
That's
Yeah. Yeah. He
yeah,
killed.
yeah. He had all that mouth, and the mouth is another path that you can get to a championship.
Yeah.
It
I
did
mean,
it,
look
it
at
didn't work out for him though. And it's like you can have all that mouth and you can be all this type of talent. Okay, the point is great that you're doing good and you winning fights, but how many championships you got? How many championships you got? None? One? While the person with less mouth and more fact takes it more seriously got more than you? Okay, I get it. It's the flash, it's the sizzle. But the ones that are really just like me and you talk about all the time, and I always laugh. It's always talk about, oh well, you gotta care about people's feelings when you dealing with them. He a man like I'm a man. He don't need to be talking to that man like that. Man, you mainly doing that because you hung up on the race thing. And while and while I get that, that ain't winning championships. It's not. Those guys where the coach has to adhere to them. That's part of the reason why Jerry is where he is, because he need to let the coach run the team and let them figure it out. And he just sit up in the box and do like he doing now and gloat about how great the players that he has on the team that he owns is. That's what he needs to be doing. That's the one thing he's missing. Just okay, yeah. You in control. You pick the dude. You gonna get some credit, but you ain't gonna get all the credit because you ain't down there in the trenches doing the thing.
And
You
see,
might
that's
be.
why.
What's up?
No, that's what I was saying. Like with that whole setup for it, I can. He just when it comes to that whole thing with the whole topic, a lot of the stuff, like you said, the swagger, our bravado as Americans is what gotten us to this point. And the thing that bothers me the most, and I know is people are gonna watch this, they're gonna say, "Oh, you're anti-American," or "You're blah this that and oh whatever." Kill you, just kill it. The fact of the matter is this: the same reverence that we look at the Dream Team back in '92, with how they became ambassadors to the sport that was started here, and we took it overseas, and they played, but they embraced all the new cultures that they came across in their fort, and that helped the NBA turn into the global juggernaut that there is. What happened when it got to those countries was that the same way Russia looked at ice hockey and gymnastics, where they had full academies where they did the education side and they focused on the training for that. You start seeing the academies start sprouting up over in Europe, over in Asia, and therefore you start hearing about the soccer teams, the companies like Real Madrid. Think about it. Luka Doncic was a pro at 14 because he was playing in Real Madrid system over in Spain. So they started to make it to where they start emphasizing the professional side along with the education, and made it to where they started to pump out stars and start to pump out international players that once they got on the scene, we don't have nothing like Euro basketball here. Think about it. Think about it. Think if we had it to where the top players from each state, from where they was born, went up against each other in a tournament like Eurobasket is over in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
That called steel sharpens steel, iron sharpens iron. We don't do that. Our nearest thing that we have in there is the college game, which we're watching right now. The college game be a whole bunch of bravado and not a lot of substance, which equals what? Parity.
But that okay. So but that's what we have though. That it's not exactly like that. It's not as good as that because they see over there they go exactly what I was just saying. This is what it is. I know what you want to do, but this is what it is.
Right.
Even back then, but back as late as 92 and as we've started to go forward, it's become less and less about because we need it to be fun. We need it to be we really want to do it, but we really don't want to deal with everything. It's like those like martial arts movies where kids see somebody doing martial arts, even like the actual martial arts with the people with Asians in it. It's always the same. The kid sees the martial arts, he goes, I want to learn that. No matter what age they are, whether they're a little kid or whether they're young adult or they're getting pretty old, and for whatever reason they want to learn it. I want to learn that. I want to be great at that. Okay, well you start here, and they kind of look at him like, what do you mean start there? That ain't got nothing to do with what you was doing. I want to do what you was doing.
Right.
You got to start. You got to
gotta
start
start
here
somewhere.
because and even right now, some could argue that even what I'm doing, I've kind of bought into that. Like I don't want to take the long road. I don't want to take the long road and get me a bachelor's degree in journalism or whatever. Which that's not what I'm thinking. There was an opportunity presented to me where, yeah, I don't have to do I don't have to do the 4 year journalism, but yet I still learn what I need to learn in order to do what I want to do.
Right.
And so back to the other point, we want to take the quicker road to get to where we want to go. And if somebody tries to tell us like, yeah, that's not going to work, oh, you're just trying to crap on my dream. Or they might actually be being serious. Listen to their reason. Ask them why.
Right.
Don't just automatically get mad at what they say. Ask them why. Don't listen so that you can have an automatic comeback.
They
Listen
don't want to do that. They want
that
to do it to
so
where
that you understand why they said it. Like I'll give a personal example, and my daughter to this day is still learning that I was right. So she came down here to live, and she got her some friends, and she liked to babysit kids, so she started babysitting kids. And every time she would come to my house, she'd go, I want a baby. No, you don't. Yeah, I do. No, you don't. Fine. Why don't I want a baby, Dad? Well,
because you don't want that responsibility.
it's one thing to take that responsibility. And then when you get tired, the baby can just go home. Or if you don't feel like it, the baby can stay home. Once you have the baby coming from you, and God forbid, you're not doing it alone.
Right.
You get tired, the baby is home. And that's why I told her as soon as she got pregnant, don't be calling me up thinking that I'm gonna put off what I'm doing to watch my grandbaby. I will love my grandbaby. I will show her all the love in the world. But if I got something planned, or even if I don't got something planned, don't just automatically expect to call up and, hey, can you get the up?
You are preaching to the choir.
Don't expect me to automatically say yes because I love my grandbaby.
And sometimes they will play on that and say like, oh yeah, because you love your grandbaby.
And
Oh yeah, they
and
grandpa.
yeah, and that's why while the baby was still in her stomach, me and her got that completely and utterly understood.
But right is right.
Like I told you, don't do it. And I was serious. You know me, I'm dead. If I say don't do
Do
something,
it.
I'm
Yeah,
dead
just like anybody
serious.
else. If I say don't do it, don't do it. It's not the fact of that. It's just simple fact of a lot of people will sit there because it's shiny and it's new and it looks like it's fun and they want it. And then when it gets to the time to where they like, okay, I'm in this now. Oh my God, this ain't really fun. It's actual work. I gotta do this. And I can't do it. That's why being a grandparent is the best thing in the world because we can always sit up there and say, come get your child. Come get yours. Come get yours. I had my niece on Saturday. Love my niece to death. Ball of energy at 6 months. You think I was up there like, hey, nah, y'all ain't gotta come and pick her up. Nah, she good. My brother walked in there. I was like, here you go. Have a good night. Oh, she just been sleep on me for the past 2 hours, so she might be woke for the rest of the night. But hey, you know,
Right.
but it is what it is. So people have to understand that it's not just about the thoughts of and tying it back into what we were talking about. It's right now what the problem is with American sports, and the reason why we are not at the highest part of the totem pole is that a lot of people, a lot of the other cultures melded our sports into their culture and made it to where it was an emphasis. They wanted to be the best. They wanted to put it forth to be the best. It's not about the bravado. It's not about that. A lot of the players that you see that have the bravado, if you look at anything from basketball to soccer, anything else, the reason why they got the bravado is because they're the best player in that sport. That's why they have it.
And they're good more often than not.
Right. It's not bravado with no substance. We got a lot of people that's got a whole bunch of bravado, but substance.
And then in order to worry about people's feelings, then we sit up here and we go, well, everybody got to be included. No, everybody don't have to be included. No, it's okay if you're not the most athletic, but you playing the game better than the most athletic person to be considered to be considered the best, either on their level or above their level, like me and you have talked about. And I make no shames about it. I'll say it to any one of them's face. I'll say it to Lamar's face if I had the opportunity. Yes, you are a talent. It is to be respected. You are a physical talent, but in terms of being able to work within your team to get your team to a championship. I'm sorry, Lamar. I'm sorry, Lamar, but Patrick is better. You are physically more gifted. If people were to ask me who would win in a foot race between Lamar and Patrick, if I say Patrick, I'm stupid.
I'm gonna say Lamar, but you're gonna
right.
But when it comes down to it, the intangibles, the intellect, the knowing how to know how to read a defense, all those other things, that's the one of the biggest things that we fail when it comes to our culture and our sports, because we rely so much on the athletic possibility and not the intellectual parts of the game that you have to put into any sport that you play.
And even back then, because to me, I'm sorry, I personally have always felt that Magic should have been in the conversation even before LeBron came along. Because I thought about the fact that he had been to more championships. I get it, he only won 5. I get it when him and Jordan faced head.
It didn't matter.
I get it when when him and Jordan faced head up, Jordan won, but Jordan also won. Jordan didn't win in the prime of what Showtime was.
No,
Jordan won when it was pretty much right. Jordan won when it was pretty much over.
But the other part about that is that a lot of things, and I was talking to some students. I was talking to some new students that were starting last Friday. I was doing orientation here last Friday. Okay. And I was having a conversation with them about it, and they were talking about the whole thing about who's the best in era. And I always said the same thing. You can have multiple GOATs. You can have a Mount Rushmore, because we can't translate what happened from one era to the next and come up with some type of homogeneous criteria of what you're going to rate each person with, because the game is different, the athleticism is different, the rules are different. So you can sit there, the debates start to get hollow now when you really start to think about it, and it's more of barbershop, social media, and
if you legitimately look at it,
right, you have to look at it that way. So when you say like Magic, the timing with Magic them in there, Jordan never faced primetime Showtime, because by the time Jordan got in there, Jordan couldn't even get to primetime Showtime in order to have that challenge. By the time he got to that point to where he got to the level where he was, to where he could go up and face them, they were on their way out.
Yeah, there was only two of them left, and they were both really old.
They were on the decline. You only had Worthy, and you really only had Worthy and Magic.
Yeah,
you didn't have Kareem. You didn't have any of the other ones that was in the Showtime squad that was there. So you can't. So, but the thing about it is that we don't hold that against Jordan, because if anything, that starts to show you how strong that Boston team was back then, how strong that Detroit team was back there that kept them from there. All those players that kept him, that he had to get through in order to even get to Magic, to get to that mountaintop, to try to go up against him from that. And let's call a spade a spade. There was times to where Magic didn't even make it to there. They couldn't get past where they needed to for it. But that was the competitive nature of the whole league during that time frame for it. Now you sit now for everything that when we put up there and we've had the conversations about LeBron and where he's at and his echelon for it. Yeah, I will never knock none of the accolades that man has got. I will never knock him. But at the same time, it's not the same league as what it was there. And they automatically go to comparisons. Well, they wouldn't have been able to shoot because they getting hand checked in that. But that the difference in that thought process is that you can sit there and say he wouldn't have been able to shoot, or he wouldn't have been able to get a lot of points from people our age. They're sitting up saying, oh, he wouldn't have been able to do all that. Yeah, but in that same breath, you're sitting up there talking about how physically athletic he was in there. The man's built like Shawn Kemp was, and we thought Shawn Kemp was an aberration back then. So how can we sit there
and like I brought up to somebody, how hard is it to dominate somebody when ain't nobody trying to be in your way, because they know that they're gonna get the foul call and probably get hurt? And it's like, what's the point of trying to defend somebody when even if they do commit a charge because of their name, kind of like the Jordan situation, because of their name, you're getting the foul call, not them. And no, I'm not gonna let somebody as big as LeBron keep running me over, and I end up sitting on the sideline for my team, and because I'm hurt, because I keep letting this dude run me over because I'm trying to get the charge, and but because he's the face of the league, the face of the league, he commits charges, but we don't call them. So okay, well then, all right, he got that. Yeah, he's on the fast break. Well, okay, I'll see you on your way back down. All right, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like what do you expect from them in that now? It's like you can't even
Now back in the 80s and the early 90s, that didn't matter. The rules were where they were a little bit more fair, to where even Jordan could get called for a charging foul if he committed it. But that's where he came up with that stop and pop, as I call it, because he come down like, ooh, I'm about to clobber him. Ooh, I'm about to take the charge. Ha 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 ha. Oh,
nope.
shot.
I'm about to pull up. I'm about to pull up and pop right there. And it made it to where he adapted. It wasn't like now to where you can basically breathe on somebody and it was getting called a foul. And if I can't knock him for that. I can't knock him for the rules the way that it is now. But what that also has done is that, just like I just saw today, scanning through on social media, just trying to kill time, where they sat there and they showed the clip of the Olympics last year when Curry went up to LeBron and Durant at the end of that game against France and said, just get me the damn ball. At the end of it, when they were losing to France and Curry went off on that epic run at the end of that game, you can see him mouthing to them, which most of the time across them people, you would have thought like, what the heck are you talking about? Man, it's Curry was like, give me the damn ball. And what did he do? He carried them to the championship. And for us, if this would have been for us, if this would have been 20 some odd years ago, we wouldn't even been thinking about France being that close to beating us in there for it. But that shows how much in 2 generations of development is that gap closed. when you got a Wemby, you had a Gobert, you had who else was over there? Boris Diaw was over there for a while. You had a whole bunch of players. Argentina for a while when Argentina knocked us off and they had to make the redeem team.
Mm-hmm.
All these different players that shoot. What is it? The guy that's from here, Jackson Hayes, is trying to get dual citizenship in Latvia to go play with Luka.
Right.
So think about that. He don't want to play for the USA. He knows he's probably not going to get on the USA squad from there, but he wants to go play with Latvia. And what happens if Latvia takes out the US? Then it's going to be, they were underwhelming. They weren't prepared. This is supposed to be the best of the best. And we've witnessed twice our best of the best not be good enough on the world stage.
And to me, that the reason why that was to me, and I would always get a lot of kickback, was because of the bravado. It's the difference to me, like in MMA. It's the difference between the Anderson that was winning and the Anderson that was losing.
Yeah, the Anderson that started showing off was when, and you remember the conversation we had about the Nigerian the Nigerian trio.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I said, as soon as they started to get more fame, they took their eye off the ball. And what ended up happening? They started losing back to back to back to back. And then Ngannou decided, I don't even want to do that. I'm going to take this money and I'm going to go over here to where I can box and I can fight MMA whenever I feel like it.
And then he got knocked out by a boxer.
Right. And it's like, okay, so what are you doing now?
And,
for that time.
And no sooner than that happened, first thing I said was, and I know Dana laughing his butt off camera right now. Oh, yeah, I know he laughing.
Dana like, was laughing all the way through it.
This is why I said I didn't want to do it. There it is.
But here's the other side of it though. Dana said he didn't want to do it with him. But then what did Dana come up with in the past year? In the past 3 months? Now they got a boxing league.
But yeah, but you want to know? Yeah, but you know why that is, right?
Yeah, because of Saudi money.
One, because of Saudi money. Two, because actually that part is number two. He, as far as people are trashing him on the fact that fighters are making more money per fight. So now what he's trying to do is he couldn't take him out just being his normal self, just doing his regular thing, because more and more fighters are going over there. So, and they're making more money, which is getting more eyes to it, and which is making the Logan boys more money. So now it's time to do what most businesses that really know what to do. Now you take yours and you do it the same way that they're doing it, but you still keep it within the parameters of what you want. That's why he's going out, he's finding the best fighters. He's finding all the best fighters and he's putting them all together and he's going, hey, look, we're doing the same thing. Only difference is our guys aren't YouTubers. Our guys have been actually doing the grind. They've been doing the training. These guys are going to fight people in their own league. Come watch. So and I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know how long it's going to take, but mark my words. Dana's going to end up winning this, and it's going to slowly take the Logans out of it.
And I want that because in all fairness, and this we've taken this topic and melded into all different things, but I want that because the quintessential reason as a boxing fan I love boxing is because for the longest time it was I want to be when I came up and watching boxing, it was I want to be the best of the best. I wanted to be the unified champion. I wanted to be the top dog across all the boards. And you saw the top dogs fight the top dogs. Then there was an era to where it was about the big money fight. The big money fight used to be the top dogs versus the top dogs. But then it turned into being who was the biggest draw at that time, becoming the fights that was in there for it. And then for all the work that they did to try to bring it back into that level with Terrence going with Bud Crawford going against Spence and with Haney going up against Garcia and things like that, where they tried to get back into there for it. The one person that I felt should have taken more of a stance during that time frame was Javonte Davis. And now to hear him doing the fight to where he ain't fought nobody in his level. The last time he fought somebody who was in his level, he lost that fight. They gave him that fight, but he lost that fight. And now you like, I'm about to take this payday from fighting one of the Pauls, and I'm about to retire. You are, I get it. I understand it. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. I don't want to hear no talk about him being one of the greats. I don't want to. Because
the supporters will do it.
Yeah, the supporters will do it, but the supporters will get ate alive if they came up across me. Because I'm gonna be like, who'd he fight? Who did he legitimately fight? And that's where the rub comes into play with it. It'll be about who he fought and who he dealt with in order to get to that point. He didn't fight nobody.
So let's circle this back around to college, because as I'm watching a game that I technically already watched, but I wanted to have some sports on my TV, so I rewatched the Ole Miss Georgia game, and I know that a lot of them got to be salty how that game ended, because it was like Georgia's defense just kind of turned on. And I feel like a lot of these losses, and that's also going to circle over to the NBA, but sticking with college, what games stuck out to you, speaking of college?
So the biggest game that stuck out to me, and I know I'm off camera from here, the biggest game that stuck out to me from this weekend was Alabama, Tennessee, and how bad that mismatch was. And then pretty much all the upsets. There was too many for we talked about the whole parity that we had in the league so far going into the system for it. we talked about it, and we've been saying it for the longest that the parity for it was going to be to where, so when you think about the parity of college football, you had 4 top 10 teams go down. I'm about to give you something that I would never have thought of when this season started. That when I saw it yesterday, I just chuckled and I said, I'm going to mention it on the podcast.
Okay.
UC is ranked higher than Texas and Clemson right now.
Okay.
You would have told me this at the beginning of the season, I would have laughed dead at your face. But then I watched Texas. That was another game. Texas should have lost that game against Kentucky. They eked it out in overtime, but they should have lost it. The whole Manning experiment, please. This is, I want everybody that comes up with these whimsical ideas that they have because of a last name, and we've had this conversation before, because of a last name, automatically bestowing greatness upon it. Folks, let's be real about this here. There have been plenty of children of superstars that have not done absolutely diddly squat in the same profession that their parents was in. The NFL is a different animal. You have a lot of the juniors, the children of them coming in there. Why? Because after a certain point in the 90s and 2000s, those kids were in the gym with their parents. They were learning with their parents. But there's a difference between being in that role and then actually getting to that level. Arch is not Peyton's son. He's not Eli's son. He's the one brother out of the 3 that didn't play professional football. And you guys have bestowed upon him, he's a Manning. It's just a gift of God. Well, guess what? The ability to read defenses is also something that should be a gift from God, and he don't got it. He has looked pedestrian. I watched UC's quarterback pick apart Oklahoma State and sat there and said, if he would have been on Texas, Texas would have won on a blowout. The arm talent, the ability to read defenses, everything that you gained from being in the trenches for multiple years, going through those lean years of doing the reps in there, taking those lumps, it's gotten them to this point. Arch Manning came in spot duty in a couple of games and threw a couple of touchdown passes against the C squad and the D squad in those games. He stepped up when he stepped up for Ewers when Ewers got hurt. It wasn't spectacular, but he did what he had to do. But you came off of a game to where you lost against Oklahoma, or did they beat? No, they beat Oklahoma. They beat Oklahoma in the Red River. They lost to Oklahoma?
Yeah, if I remember right. Let me go back and look.
I thought they beat Oklahoma.
That was
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Let me go back and look.
Texas won 23-6.
Oh, okay.
So you beat them. So you beat Oklahoma. And you eke out an overtime victory against Kentucky. You're not consistent. You're not consistent. And right now, you are one loss away from possibly making it to where Sarkisian starts feeling a little bit of heat under his seat. And I wouldn't have said this a couple of weeks ago, but coming off a situation where a Final Four team last year fired their coach because lack of big game victories, you can't miss right now. You can't miss right now. And that made it to where watching that game, and I was flicking between that game, Oregon bounced back. I love seeing my Ducks bounce back. That game was over by the end of the first quarter because they basically took out all their frustrations against poor Rutgers. Indiana proved to me more than anything they're not a fluke. Wisconsin proved to me that Wisconsin is a fluke. Wisconsin. Did you hear what Fickle said after the game?
No.
Fickle sat there and said, I got beaten by a superior coach with a superior team. This was his post-game press conference. And he showed me the path for what we need to be here at Wisconsin. You basically just said all praises to Ohio State. We are not worthy for the team that we are, and we just want to become you later on in our fickle lives here of cheese and Packerism.
Well, I mean, he's not lying. I mean,
he's a person.
Uh-oh. Be nice. Be nice.
No, I bet that has been my tagline for like the past couple of weeks. Jay, be nice. I'm not nice. I'm not. I'm real. You could have built. You already had the framework to build something, and you left it for something that was already built that you wanted to put your name on and try to elevate. But here's the thing: you tried to take that same mentality that you took at a middle class upper echelon school and take it to a bigger conference school, and you realize quite quickly it's levels to this. And you have declined in your wins in the 3 years you've been there. Now, right, wrong, or indifferent, where you've been going down, Satterfield has been going up. Did I like the Satterfield hire? No. Do I still like the Satterfield hire? No. Am I starting to respect it a little bit? Give me a couple of weeks when they go up against Utah, BYU, and Texas Tech. Then I might be able to sit up there and say, okay, they've turned the corner. And even then, you're gonna have to show me something if you can make it win a Big 12 championship or something to convince me. But for Fickle has came along in the same ilk as all the other coaches that have came through the cradle of coaches between Miami and UC and sat there and said, you know what? I'm going where the grass is greener on the other side, and I'm never going to mow it. I'm only going to water it sparingly. And why is it turning brown? Why are they about to evict me because the HOA is saying that my house is bringing down the property value? Because Fickle, here's the funny part, Fickle and Brian Kelly, both booties are getting kind of toasty. booties are getting kind of toasty. And Kelly's in the same boat. It's bad. And I told you, one of the most awe-inspiring things that I've been at a concert at Ohio Stadium. That concert is that building is a mecca. I will always say that.
Yeah, I ended up going to one also. My friend gave me a spare ticket, and I was able to go see that Wu-Tang Nas concert.
See, I saw Beyonce and Jay-Z there in Ohio Stadium. Yeah, I was in the upper rafters. Yeah, it was raining a little bit, it sprinkled a little bit, and yeah, the seats were just concrete. It was this concrete slab. Didn't care. I'm in Ohio Stadium.
You were
I'm talking
actually
about
in the
in
stadium.
I'm in I'm in
I was at at an indoor, something that was
oh
open air
no,
campus.
I'm talking about in Ohio Stadium. So I've been there. But walking around LSU's football stadium, when we went down there for the college tour down there for it, that's almost, as a football player, that makes you want to grab the pass and be like, I want to run through there for it. To realize that they have a legitimate tiger den outside of it with their actual tiger mascot. And to know the history, even the recent history from it. You got your two previous coaches, Les Miles and Ed Ogeron, have won national championships with that squad.
Mm-hmm.
You have had a plethora of talent because LSU is going to bring you talent from there. And you can barely get out of the middle of the pack in the daggone SEC. You've had teams that just joined the SEC surpass you. When do you realize that you got a problem? And the one thing that I've been saying for the longest time for all these coaches, and like I told you, it during the season, it starts turning to skeet shooting, because as soon as the people that's lining that NIL and lining that athletic department's pockets start sitting up there saying, hey, we need a meeting because we're not getting a good ROI. They gone. Napier called it. He's gone. Norville, I'm shocked. Because for them to come out and say that Norville, they're going to wait until the end of the season to evolve. He better not lose no games that he should not have lose throughout the rest of the thing, because that's his final warning. Everybody else?
Yeah, because I saw yesterday, I saw somebody had posted. I'm glad I didn't click on it, but somebody had posted that he was fired. And
No, he
then
wasn't fired, but
and
they said
then
that.
and then today I saw what you basically said, where
Yeah,
they said that they was giving. I'm like, okay, well, I'm glad I didn't click on that other thing, which, it is what it is. People got to have clickbait to
it's
make their
clickbait.
money, and it's
But the fact of the matter is this: would anybody have been shocked if he got fired? You got to think
no.
about it. They fired Napier after a win. They didn't care. Because
Well, because that win almost wasn't a win.
exactly. It's not. There's no moral victories no more, because now what you're going to start seeing a lot of colleges, because you've heard I'm wearing the colors, but the rumblings have been coming because they keep on saying the what's it called, the boosters are not happy right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that buyout, yeah, it trickles down as it gets down the line for it. That buyout, if it keeps on going the way that it's going, oh, we was happy with how he did, even though they lost against Cal. You lost against Cal. Cal has not been relevant for a long time.
No.
So Belichick's about to feel pretty much how it is to be a lame duck coach very quickly if they don't do something. They got to get bowl eligible.
Compared to everybody else that's in position to get fired, last I checked, his buyout isn't gonna cost that much.
No. But shoot, but you see what I told you about Clemson. Clemson then started coming together and start saying, hey, we might have to talk about this.
Well, yeah, I mean, Clemson, I'm not shocked at that, And I'm sure that he is not shocked at that. That's
No,
why
no, he's shocked. He is shocked. He's basically, he has, and this comes to the bravado. This comes to the bravado and everything for it. He's to a point to where he's like that dude to where he feel like he can do no wrong, but he ain't
because of
told
what
the
he's
part of
done.
the bargain. He can do no
And
wrong.
for the most part,
He
for
has. I'm not going to dispute that fact. But you are in a business. This is not just a coaching thing. You are in a business. Your results dictate what you're doing with it. Yes, you barely eked out. You barely eked out a championship against a team that just joined your conference last year. And then you turned around the next year and they whooped your ass in your dang own house. SMU is undefeated in the ACC since they joined. You cannot, no, you can't. You can't. You are the cream of the crop of the ACC. You have made Florida State look like a stepchild. You have made Georgia Tech look like a stepchild up until this point. Y'all have dominated every single time. The only time that teams have came close to beating you was Louisville and Pitt. That's it. Those are your scares.
and those
And
are
now,
tough grinder teams, so that's not a shock.
right. But now you got 4 losses before pretty much right after the halfway point of the season. You're not going to a major bowl. And that's hard to say. Clemson's not going to a major bowl.
Well, it's easy to say at this point because of the fact that as time has gone forward, it got to the point to where even though the national championship was a bowl, you still had the original major bowls. It was
Yeah.
like it was like you had the one that was the national championship, and then you had the other ones
Other bowls in there.
that were so big that even though they weren't the national championship bowl, they still were one that you wanted your name associated with. And now because they've gotten to the point, people are going to find that they're going to be actually more pissed that they didn't just leave things the way that they were, because now you should have just left everything the way it was, because now since you was making so much fun and saying that you shouldn't take serious the bowls, you still have the bowls, but now
Yeah.
don't nobody care about them. And on top of that, if it's gonna get to the point to where, okay, you made it to the playoff. Now what?
Yeah.
We're
Because it's going to turn into how it is. It's going to turn into how it is with the NFL. Because think about it.
Yeah.
If you got a team that has never think about how much they would throw a parade if the Browns make the playoffs this year. We threw a parade here when the Bengals made the playoffs. We damn near had a Super Bowl party for just making the Super Bowl. Kansas City is like, we ain't win. We ain't fucking celebrating. Fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
It's levels to the expectation. So when you get to that point, we know what the game plan is. You gotta be one of the 12. Probably by next year, you gotta be one of the 16 to get into the tournament. You gotta be one of the top 16.
And then people gonna be complaining, and then they're gonna raise it to 20.
But at this point, here's the thing. And one of the things that I always said that I don't think people actually kind of took into account when they went to the bracket system for it, that's actually going to end up being beneficial once it gets rolling and continues to get rolling is that, think about it. When they just had the BCS, before they went to the 4, you played a 10-game season. You played your conference championship game that was 11, and then you played 2 other games. So you played 13 games for an entire season, no preseason.
Uh-huh.
Right. And then what was the conversation with a lot of rookies when they were coming out from doing that? They would hit that rookie wall because they were playing at a faster pace and more games than what they were playing in college, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you have it to where if you go deep into the tournament, you're playing your 10-game season, plus you're playing your conference championship game. Then if you make a deep run, you're playing 4 more games, all in that back-to-back week segment. Y'all even get a multiple bye break in between there,
which people are wanting them to get rid of.
right? Because to me that's too long of a cool-off period. I agree. So if you're doing that, now you're up to playing 15 games a season. What's the NFL regular season right now? 17 plus a bye.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many rookies is going to run into that wall that played all the way through. I bet you won't see the Ohio State players that came out and the Notre Dame players that came out running into a wall. They body had a year to get used to it. They just like, okay, this is what I'm doing. Next year is going to be even better. You can't take into account the repetitions that you put your body through, especially as a young player in there. Get your body ready for the next step and the next step and the next step. It's crazy how at one point you played more high school football games than you did college football games if you play in your state tournaments. Because Ohio, we played 10 weeks, and then it's a 4-week run to get to the state championship. So we had 14. College football at its peak back in the day was 12. So can't get mad at that. It's just now the biggest thing with everything, the business side of it is going to continue to come out of it. There is not, if I'm a coach in college football, if I know that my expectation is here, I need to be at least a half a step or a step above or trying to achieve that. Because if I'm failing to even reach that level, failing to try to improve as I go along from it, especially with all this money that's coming. Shoot, what was it? They said somebody from Saudi just invested in another in a school. It might have been North Carolina, or they was looking for Saudi investment for it.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. They're looking for Saudi money for their college football team, and that's not a football school. That no matter what you do, when you hear North Carolina, what you gonna think of?
Oh, basketball and Lawrence Taylor.
Right. You're gonna think about that logo right there. Or Duke. You're not gonna think about football, no matter how hard they try. Until they get to a culture where they start winning more and getting the Final Fours. You think they'll ever start ranking the Final Fours like they do for college basketball and football?
No.
I don't think so either. I just thought it would be funny because you start saying, hey, I've been to 5 Final Fours as a head coach in the college football ranks. How many championships you win? I made it to 1 championship. I never won one. Next.
But and that's why I said that it's gonna grow to like a ridiculous. It is gonna eventually grow to a ridiculous point, and it's gonna be less about. It is gonna be less about the sport and more about the people being paid and feelings
But it's already there.
Well, yeah,
It's already there. It's not.
It's already there for the It depends on the team though, because it part of it depends on the team and and the players that they recruiting, because like me and you have talked about, and this also sorry to burst people's bubble, but this also applies to college. There are a lot of college players that have said the exact same thing that the pros say, the ones that are constantly winning their conference championships and winning. It's like, yeah, the coach is coach. The coach is coach. They have an expectation and we have to meet them. And and the best players, you can tell by the way they talk, what's important, what's being preached, by the way they do the after game interview. You can tell. So, and that's something else that people need to understand. It's yes, everybody has a right to have their feelings cared about. But at the end of the day, if you have a job to do, doesn't matter how glamorous it is. It doesn't matter. There's not one job on this planet that isn't going to have a hint of God. I'd rather not be doing this. Not one job.
Yeah.
Like even there's stuff that even if I had the money to purely focus on this stuff that if I could, I'd be like, yeah, could you either help me get this done faster or could you mind doing this while I find something else? Like the whole editing thing. The editing thing, when you really, and plus I'm a perfectionist, so it's like editing is mentally torturous for me. Because I just especially from my standpoint, like what I just did a few seconds ago, going through and trying to take all of that out and just getting mad at myself was like, why do I keep doing that? And I literally get mad at myself. So yeah, for the most part college wise, and I started to, I thought that you might have been busy, but I started to literally send you a message that said, so basically, if you're number 2 on down in the top 25, you should be on notice that you're probably gonna lose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if your name is, and even if I was Ohio State just for giggles, I would be on just to like make sure that I don't end up being one of them victims, because that has happened throughout the years that whoever was number 1, it didn't last till the end of the season.
Michigan.
So Michigan or somebody
No,
else.
no, no.
There's been other.
I'm saying in general, that Michigan game,
They better not lose to Michigan.
that Michigan game scares it doesn't scare the bejesus out of me, but it makes me warm and fuzzy inside, thinking that they could be the number 1 team in the nation and be ready to go on and to go into being the number 1 seed in the Big East, in a Big Ten championship, and everything else. And Michigan comes in there and spoils it.
And that was part of the reason why I became a firm believer in, okay, if you know that you're not going to the big one, become a spoiler and spoil it for everybody else. And now I wouldn't want that happening like in my actual life, but like in football, it's competition. It's okay. Just in basketball, it's competition. It's okay. Coming to my work and like doing that to me just because you can. No, that'll make me want to go postal. Please don't. Now, I don't agree on the Indiana thing. And the reason
Really?
why I don't agree on the Indiana thing, you know me, I'm about who did you beat?
Oh yeah, I get that one. I get that one.
Like Ohio State. Ooh, they beat Wisconsin 34-0. So did Northwestern. Next, it's like, like, it's like no. Who did you beat? Like Ohio State. I'm not gonna completely dismiss them because I know how good they actually are because they have years to back it up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'll see you guys in the tournament. See how that works out. I'll see you at the Michigan game and see if y'all manage to let Michigan beat you again.
Oh my God.
And that's me.
That's
And you see what I'm wearing. And I'm saying that there was no way that they should have beat them last year. The way Ohio State was playing and the way I knew Michigan was in trouble when they didn't even know who their quarterback was, and it was getting close to the start of the season. I was like, excuse me, what? Like, what do you mean you don't know who your quarterback is? Like, oh God.
I'm looking at Indiana's schedule for the and I get what you're saying with that. They haven't played anybody. Their 2 top 10 wins is against Oregon, against Illinois.
Which or Illinois is doing big things. But again, who else we got? We got Illinois and
Oregon.
They did beat
They
Oregon.
went into Oregon. They went into Eugene and beat Oregon. That's something that don't happen on a regular basis. So that's what gave me some type of like, okay, y'all might be for real. But The
but
rest of their season, the rest of their season, they got UCLA trap game,
right,
Maryland, Penn State,
which is
Wisconsin,
dysfunctional
Purdue.
at this point.
Penn State's a lost cause, and Purdue. So you play two teams that haven't won in the conference. No, three teams that haven't won in the conference. One that's won one game, and one that's won 3 games in conference.
Now, I will say this about Indiana. Congrats for becoming a winning team. But I still need to see more because y'all just now becoming a winning team. So I need to see more. Let me see you face like even though Penn State then fell off, if they're somehow able to like find their ability to play the game of football, that game still interests me
They're not. They're
because
going.
because Penn State has been over the years, they have been a winning. It goes Michigan and Ohio State and then Penn State in terms of the Big Ten. So that game will still kind of intrigue me, but I'm also going to be trying to pay attention to the rest of Penn State season leading up to it. And if they keep on losing, then obviously I'm gonna lose interest, and then I'm gonna be like, okay, if y'all make it to the playoff again, y'all have to win. There is no, well, no, we made it there, and we showed how good we were. According, and the same thing is going to apply to Ohio State. I'm a fair person, dude. I looked at your schedule. No, you have to win. You have to win a game or two in the playoff before I go, okay. Ohio State obviously will get a little bit more because details are important. Ohio State's been doing it. They've been winning. Indiana, they haven't been winning like that. So
I got the sinking feeling about Ohio State. And it came to me earlier on today, and it just popped back up in my head.
Okay.
I got a feeling they might pull an Oregon.
And losing the national championship?
No. Remember what Oregon did last year? Oregon went undefeated the entire season, won the Big Ten championship.
Yep.
Got the bye. First game out. Did they look like the same Oregon team that played throughout that whole season? No. Ohio State was coming off of, because Ohio State had to play a first round game in there. So they came in humming.
Right. Plus, they were angry anyway. So
right. They was angry after losing to Michigan. They came out humming, and then they just blitzkrieg Oregon because Oregon was cool. Oregon had been chilling since they won their conference championship. I got a feeling because nobody has pushed Ohio State at all.
Right.
Nobody really pushed Oregon last year except for Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got the rematch, and Ohio State said, "Nah, son, y'all still new here. We been here." I got a feel something's telling me that this might happen, and I don't. And it's going to be in my head. My wheels are spinning. It's going to be an SEC team. It's going to bounce them, and it's going to be first round. I mean, it's going to be that second round. It's going to be an Elite Eight. It's just something telling me.
Ooh.
You got to think about it.
Considering what's going on in the SEC right now, where it's basically wide open and a free for all.
Right.
That would not be good for Ohio State if that if what you say happens, that would not be good on any level. And no. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just calling a spade because there's it. Unless you are a fan of a team in the SEC, there's no way you can honestly look at the SEC and say that you know who's coming out of the SEC.
Right now, the SEC, their top Texas A&M and Alabama are tied for conference lead. Georgia's third with 1 loss. Right. Ole Miss is fourth because they have 1 less game played, but they have 1 loss. And then Texas and Missouri round out the top 6 because they only have played 3 conference games. Oh, and Oklahoma's and Vanderbilt. They all at 2-1. So they're going to catch up with that. But you got to remember, one of those teams is going to be the person, one is going to be a top 4 seed coming into the tournament. Whoever wins the SEC is going to be there. So what happens?
Which right now it's looking like it's going to be Bama.
Right. So what happens if Georgia or Texas A&M are a 4 through 12 seed and have to play, and then they get Ohio State with the defenses that they've had? That's going to be interesting.
I need to see me a Texas A&M game.
Yeah, please do, because they have their defense. Their defense is giving up they've given up less points than Alabama. They haven't scored. No, they've outscored Alabama and given up less points total in conference right now.
By 1 point.
Yeah,
outscored them by 8.
By 8. And then, but even Alabama's they've outscored Alabama through the regular season across all their games, but Alabama's giving up 40 less points. But Alabama has that one cakewalk game that was in there as well, where I think they shut out somebody. The only game, and see, this is the thing. Like we say, who have you played? Who have you played in there? The reason why I give Texas A&M a little bit of leeway is they played Texas San Antonio, but then they play Utah State, Notre Dame, Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida, Arkansas. So they've been in the league for the past 4 weeks, and they got LSU this week. So this is going to be a telltale game with LSU, because pretty much I think Kelly's job is on the line this week. He don't beat Texas A&M, and he falls into having a third loss in conference before the midway point. He's not coming back next year. They might let him finish out the season. He ain't coming back.
Yeah.
And they scheduled their cakewalk game against Samford before they go up against Texas at the end of the season. And they at Texas at the end of the season. By that time, Texas is probably going to be, they're going to be pretty much ass out too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they had 4 cakewalk games. They have 4 cakewalk games on their schedule according to their level of talent. And that was the first 2 that they played at the beginning of the season. And then Samford, and then Arkansas, which Arkansas played them pretty tough.
Arkansas fell off. That's why they fired their coach. Because Arkansas, at the beginning of that season for Arkansas looked like they was going, well, no, they played nobody. Never mind. Yep, that was a cakewalk. My bad.
Yeah, and another reason why I said it is because the that talk that we had about coaches and how they talk.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the vibe that I got from his level of conversation. That's why when they fired him, I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, that makes total sense, because it just reeked of coddling, and that's bad to say, but
it's not bad to say that, but that's
what it is.
That's what they're doing. They're coddling. I want my players to know me as their friend.
Which they can know you as their friend, but you also know that you at work. Also know that you are at work and everybody's job's on the line. And that's another thing that should come with that. Speaking of, I don't care if it's in the pros. I don't care if it's in college, especially now that they're being paid. That should become a thing. If they paid you to do a job, and you are not stepping up, you should still get paid, but they should be able to take some of the money off a little above half, maybe 60, 70%, somewhere between 75 and 50.
Should be performance incentives.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If if you're going to put the performance incentives in there, then you should be able to lower down the guarantee.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And that goes across the board. I don't care if it's pros. I don't care if it's college. I don't care what it is. It's like, because I was going to ask you something because you've been watching hockey longer than me, and I may have already asked you this and totally forgot. Do they have contract disputes in hockey?
Yes, they do, but with their
They
new
do?
structure but with their new structure that they did after the last strike, it's been a lot less. Because they pretty much have it to where there's a pay scale based off of your skill level and what you've exhibited and therefore, and that's what they slot you in for what your actual annual salary is for it.
And the reason why I asked you that was because I kept noticing, like when people was coming up for they new contracts,
Mm-hmm.
it was in the single digits. And I'm like, huh?
Yeah, because
Like, huh?
hockey does not play unless you are a superstar like Connor McDavid.
Right.
They don't pay astronomical amounts for it because your people think that football has the highest injury rate for it. Hockey actually does.
I would say I could imagine hockey, soccer,
Soccer not as much. Hockey,
rugby.
rugby, yeah, but
I could imagine
but
them
for
having a
main
high injury rate.
but for mainstream sports, if you call the five major sports, football,
Okay.
basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, in there for it. The amount of contact that you have in hockey, the physical fights that you have in hockey, the the fear, and we've seen it numerous times of a skate accidentally cutting a player in hockey.
I seen a ref accidentally. He was trying to get out of the way the other night. He was trying to get out of the way because both the hockey players was coming at him. So he literally boosted
Jump,
himself up so that he could go over the side. But
yeah,
while he was in the midst of doing that, the players ran into him, and as he was falling over the side, his skates came up, and the front of his skate hit dude in the lip. And I was worried. I'm like, did the actual shoe part of that skate hit him, or did the blade hit him?
mm-hmm.
I didn't see a whole lot of blood, so I'm guessing that it wasn't the blade that hit him, but he was kind of worried.
Yeah, because that blade, people have to understand something. That blade for a hockey is sharp enough to where if it's going at a certain speed for it, it can cut through you. It's been players that have been killed because their artery, or they've been seriously injured because a blade that came up and it cut them on an artery, and they had to really like go stop it from there for it because it's sharp enough for you to skate on that ice. So yeah, they don't that when you get to a point to where your injuries are never defined like they are in the NFL. This person has a strained hamstring. They just say upper body, lower body. He got hurt up there. He got hurt down there. Something got hit. We don't care. He all right. He ain't coming back in for this game. But next time y'all want to check in on him, just say what up and see how he's doing. And if he don't respond, he's either catatonic or we gave him enough sedatives in order for him to sit there until the pain goes away.
All right.
But that's how they are.
This will be a good segue into the NFL. Are you shocked that even though it got brought up that Brian Daboll did not catch any heat for messing with them doctors last week? They can tell me whatever they want. I saw the look on his face.
He went in there and told them he playing.
Right. He like, dude, I got the Philadelphia Eagles out here. I'm winning. My job's on the line. You get him back. Unless he can't walk, he's getting back on the field tonight.
Can you breathe? Can you breathe? Can you breathe? You can breathe. He's good. Put him out there.
Because I seen what was going on, and I'm like,
they was like, the coach should not have been in the tent. Man, that coach peeked his head in there, was like, is he alive? Yeah, to give him his helmet back. We gotta go. We got a game to play.
Because Russ was
Russ started warming up. He looked over there. He said, "Oh hell nah! Hey, is he good? Put him out there."
As soon as Russ overthrew that one pass, it was over. It was like, oh no,
He's
no,
like,
no, 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 no,
"Oh
no, no,
no!"
no.
Especially with his job depending on it. He was like,
Right. It
you,
was like,
you about to
no.
you get
No,
your
no,
butt out
no,
there.
no,
You about
no,
to
no,
play."
no, no, no. Like, and I got the number one guys. I'm like I'm like a quarter or so away from being talked about in a good way
Being
for
fired.
right.
I am not
No,
playing this game with y'all.
I'm gonna go down swinging. Let's go, Doc. Put up your dukes. That's you knocking me out is the only way. Dart's not going back out there. Now let's go. And the doctor's like, yeah, dude, I'm just trying to do my job. Don't. I mean, come on. It's like, yeah, I hear you. Whatever. Where's Dart?
He's like, nah. What do you mean? No, nope. Get him out here. Nope, he's not. Nope. Jackson. What's your name, Jackson? All right, he's good. Take him on out here. Let him go.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of, yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Real quick. This has to do with the NFL and football. I said I was gonna do it in the group and I didn't. So I'm gonna do it here. I'll only take a few minutes.
Okay.
Apologies. Everybody that talked crazy about the Giants not getting Shador.
Oh yeah, I want all that smoke. Yeah, I want
You
all that
owe them
smoke.
an apology.
Who, me?
Mel Kiper. Who else was it?
Anybody?
Mel Kiper, Keyshawn Johnson, Shady McCoy. Speaking of Shady McCoy, please tell me that you've been on YouTube lately and you seen what he did to Acho.
No, I did not.
I
I did not
watched
see
it last night. So I watched it last night because I got this British show. I got two British shows that I watch on YouTube. Anyway, so Acho got on his moral throne, right? And he was coming at Shady, but he forgets that Shady is Shady, and
He got that name for a reason.
he Shady is Shady, and so you want to jump on your moral high horse? Well, how about your moral high horse when you was messing around with
We was
and,
messing around with Joy.
yeah, so he
Joy.
laughed it off at first,
He
but
had no choice to let it
unfortunately,
off. Shady did.
he couldn't. Unfortunately, they did it on the show,
Joy
and
said something.
no, one, his moderator couldn't stop laughing, but most of the reason why the moderator couldn't stop laughing was because you know that they do comments on their show, right?
Oh God, the comments started trending.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And Acho couldn't take it, so he basically shut down the episode for the night. Bro, it was hilarious. Oh God. And then as it was, because they didn't turn the camera right off. He
I gotta
he
watch it.
he was trying to be, he was trying to seem like he was still cool with Shady, but you can hear a hint of irritation in his voice. It's like, man,
Shady.
like man, you ain't even have to go there with that. Like, well, no, you don't do Shady like that. I wasn't shocked that Shady did it because I don't watch Shady on the show. If you try to call him out, you better make sure he ain't got no receipts on you.
Man, yeah. I gotta say, Shady, my boy. I love Shady McCoy. I'm always, I, I,
Oh my
Shady
God.
ain't that one to mess with.
It was so funny because there were some times on that show that I was wondering if if it was gonna come to blows, Shady would get so it's like now wait a minute. No. You ain't gonna do that. You ain't gonna sit up in here and do that. I'm like, uh-oh. Um,
Because Shady
remember,
needs to call, but that's the thing. He needs to get called out on some of that stuff because some of that stuff, realistically, he would sit there, he will try to be Acho. The reason why I did not like him when he was on ESPN was because he would try to come across as holier than thou a lot. And I'm like,
and that's
dude,
why a
I
lot
didn't
of
even know
people
you
didn't
played
like him.
football. I was like, I didn't even know you played football for real. So I knew your brother. I didn't know about you. What makes you feel like you can sit there and belittle anybody about anything? And he tries to come across with the, yeah, so when you have to intellectually sit there and think about it and do the whole parameter of everything here for doing this. And he has his, I've seen some of his videos where he's sitting up there breaking down tape and everything else like that. All right, kudos, kudos. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mm.
Do that enough to get yourself back in the league. Because you're young enough to play. Oh, that's right. Nobody wants you.
I believe that was the reason, if I remember, because they talked about that a couple of times. Whenever they got on the subject of their careers, he would go into it a little bit. I believe injuries was part of why it was just he just hung it up. And
And I
but
believe it.
yeah, but oh my god, that was so funny. I was scrolling through trying to find another episode because I got these two shows I watch. They OO shows. One's Keeping Up Appearances, which basically to me is like the UK version of like All in the Family and the Jeffersons.
Yeah, I seen
Yeah,
that.
that yeah. And then Are You Being Served? Oh my god, that
Are You
shit
Being
was
Served used to be the classic that used to be on WCET for the longest time. I used to sit there and watch that it used to come on like either right before Doctor Who on Saturdays or
right.
right afterwards. It was one of the two. I can't remember, but that used to be. I used to sit there and get dead weak at that. That and Benny Hill. I used
Yeah,
to watch them two
yeah.
to the life of me.
And I did watch some Monty Python too. I don't know what channel I was watching, but I was able to see Benny Hill, Monty Python. I was able to see Are You Being Served, and I think Keeping Up Appearances. I think that one was newer to me, but yeah, them other three I had always known about. But well, yeah, God, that was so hilarious. Especially when he did eventually get serious. He was trying to, he was trying to, I think he thought that they turned off the camera, and I don't think he realized that they didn't. Because he did end up questioning Shetty, like, man, I don't even know why you had to even go there. It was like, why? I know why you had to go there, because you tried to go there. You tried to go there on your moral compass, forgetting that there was something within this, and it was within the sports realm because y'all it happened on the show, the sports show. It was two people that were on the sports show, and something happened, and it came out. I also find it convenient that even though technically he got turned down, I'm surprised that Shady. I guess Shady said, well, it was Acho that brought it up, not Skip. He left that part of the conversation out because Skip came up in that too, but he got brought up in it because he got turned down. So yeah, but there
Oh,
was some
Joy was
rumor.
picky actually.
Uh, the hairdresser was,
Oh yeah, the hairdresser they said was picky. Joy was an equal opportunity influencer.
and whoever was talking about it, they found a picture that Joy had posted where and they kept it up most of the time when they wasn't focusing on like Shady and Acho. They kept posting it, and it was a selfie that she took with Acho sitting on the couch covered up in a blanket. And I'm like, yeah, so whatever y'all was doing right there, that was personal time. That was like somebody went and found that picture of y'all in y'all personal time. Whoever
let's let's
posted
be
the
real.
reaction post.
Let's be real. The funniest thing about that whole situation is that the person that did the most, she's not even working in sports anymore. She can't. She's gonna get blackballed.
Yeah, I think she's already. I have seen her. I can't remember where I
She's
seen
trying to
her
do
at.
speaking engagements and stuff for
She's
it.
she's popped up on a couple people's podcasts. I've seen like reels of it, but yeah, in terms of like actually being able to do it the way
Think-
she was doing it, yeah, that's not a
Even
it's not gonna be a good look because it's gonna come up. And as much as I hate to say it, I wonder if that happened on purpose.
what was the girl? I'm sorry. What was the woman who was also like she did the podcast with her and she ended up backing out of it too because she got married and like I think Joy was at the wedding, but like she backed out of their podcast and just left it alone. Like you're a little bit too hot for even mine.
Yeah, I think that might have happened after that one episode where she was talking about what kind of man she wanted or whatever that was. But
Yeah,
and yeah, she made that comment that went viral. That was it went viral like maybe some months before. I feel like as much as I hate to say it, as soon as that thing popped off with Shannon, I felt like somebody in the sports universe was like, you know what, it's open season on Fox because first Skip officially went down, and then you could tell by the way they was running the shows that they was trying to figure it out, like how they were gonna do like the remaining shows, and then all of a sudden, uh, their show with Joy and Shady and them kept having off time not too long after.
Taylor Rooks.
Yeah,
Yeah, she disses herself so quickly.
I don't even think that she spends much time. Does she still show up on ESPN anymore?
No, Taylor Rooks had left ESPN. She was working the sidelines for hold on. I want to say she was working the sidelines for NBA. I know she was doing NBA. Now she's doing it for NBA on Prime TV. So she's still in the game. But yeah, she just went ahead. She was doing the NBA for it. She was hired to contribute to their pregame, halftime, and postgame for the NFL. So now she'll lead the NBA on Prime Video studio coverage, where she'll have Dirk Nowitzki and Blake Griffin on there, and then she still appears on Thursday Night Football for Prime. So she works for Amazon now.
Okay.
Yeah, she got married in July. So yeah, I like I said, it seemed like as soon as that took off and that went to the left, it was like, I'm out of this bad boy. I can't do
Yeah,
it.
and plus her finding love probably helped too, because at the time that wasn't exactly a painting guys in a good light segment.
But she had been
So
with her, but she had already been with her what's we call it? She had already been with her fiance. So it was that I think if anything, you can't be associated with somebody that's trolloping at that time.
yeah.
You can't be around the house when you trying to get married.
All right.
All
On to
right,
the NFL and all
oh,
this ridiculousness.
all right.
Uh,
So we got a half an hour to knock these out. Because
okay.
the game's already started. Oh, by the way, update. Detroit's up 7-0. Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown reception. That is they are at 7 minutes left in the 7 minutes left in the
Oh
second
yeah,
quarter.
that's right.
Yep.
Dang it.
Yep. So that Amon-Ra has already gave me points. Yeah. And that's gonna be good with that. So looking back at we didn't really do bad so far.
Okay.
Um, head to head, 1-1. You're up 2-1 on me head to head with the Tampa Bay Detroit game, our last head to head.
Dang it. Which
So
one did I lose?
you lost the Rams in Jacksonville. You took Jacksonville.
I knew, and I told you, I said, knowing my luck,
You said it. That's why
that
I was
punk,
waiting on it.
that Punk Stafford was gonna start and he was gonna kill me. I
Oh
knew
my
it. I was like,
God.
oh,
Stafford and Devontae
oh.
Adams was sitting up there having a field day. But the question that came out of that game for me
What's
was,
up?
what is going on with Jacksonville and their decision making?
Here's the thing. Here's part of it. And this goes college and pros. If you have running game, use
Mm-hmm.
it. Quit only talking about complementary football in the context of offense and defense.
Yep.
Because you also need it in running and passing. We know what Trevor looks like when the line ain't exactly having a good time of it and you're putting everything on him. He does better when it's him and the running game and you're mixing it up.
Yep. And they didn't mix it up at all. It
Right.
was all Trevor. And it was raining. So it was all Trevor. It's raining. Your offensive line barely looked like they can hold off a cold. It was bad. I felt sorry for him after a while. Round of applause for Travis Hunter getting his first touchdown. We're only
Yeah.
in week 7.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but when you trying to do both and they trying to make sure that they don't wear you out, I get it. This is not like a Reggie Bush situation where you mainly have like your one position on offense and you don't score nothing until week 11, but everybody trashed Skip Bayless for saying that you should have been for saying that he shouldn't have been a first round draft pick.
But here's the only thing with that. I want to see his pro football focus metrics for when he was on Devontae Adams during that game. Because when he was on Devontae Adams was not getting off anything. And he was breaking up passes while he was covering them.
Well, and this is what I tried to, and this is what we talked about bef- after he got drafted. This is what we talked about. He has a leg up because wide receiver and you're being a corner. If you know pretty much what both of them are doing, you know the look. All you got to do is look and go, oh, they running this, so I can do this. Maybe you spread maybe you let that be known to your quarterback, like, hey, this is what they mainly running. Maybe y'all should have me doing this as a wide receiver, that as a wide receiver. That's why I said this could actually work because he's learning both the jobs. He's learning the job as on both sides of it. It's absolutely genius. If you're going to sit up here, don't sit up here and be a linebacker and be a wide receiver. Be the one that's going to have to directly cover it. You're the corner and you're the wide receiver, so you know both jobs. What they're known to do, and you got years of experience with it because you did it in college. You did it more than likely did it in high school. So you got, not only do you have that years and years and years of knowledge, but you got the experience because you actually been able to do it. Now, do I want to see him doing it for 60 minutes? No. They are definitely doing right, and I'm glad that he's going along with it and he's buying into it. Like yeah, you ain't gonna be out there every down because we need to make sure that you have the ability to, breathe. Breathe and we don't want to wear you out and wear out your limbs. So yeah, just work with us, we'll work with you. And it does look like it's working. So they should definitely keep going with it. Although I will say this in Trevor's defense, there was a lot of drop passes. There was a lot
Right.
of
I
drop
want I
passes
I
on the
want the
side of Jacksonville.
I want the Brian Thomas as a number one receiver thought to go out the window. Because he dropped a few of them to where it hit him in the hands.
Yeah.
And just was, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, you're supposed to be their number one. They drafted you to be a number one. You're playing like a number three. And that's being nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw something on The Athletic popped up today to where it said, is now Travis Hunter, is it time to move Travis Hunter up to being wide receiver one? You can't move him up to wide receiver one because he can't be out on the field that whole time being wide receiver one if you got him doing both sides.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hole that you put yourself in for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's crazy because he could legitimately be your wide receiver one, but you got to take him off from being a corner. And you need his help on corner because your corners back there was either getting burned or getting a PI the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he got drafted in the most perfect oxymoron that you could possibly be. You got drafted to play both positions on a squad that doesn't have a number one at either position, and you can't do both.
And you got to be careful who you say that around because you got people in
you're a
their
hater.
feelings. You like you're why you hating Brian Thomas? He good, yeah, but there's this
Brian Thomas
thing.
is not good. He's not.
Oh yeah, this was another game. I was wondering.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Yes, it's about to be 14-0.
Just give it to Gibbs. Oh, no,
That's
it is 14-0. Gibbs,
yeah,
touchdown.
yeah. That's who they gave it to. Ironically, yeah.
It's in Jay's office.
No, I'm still not buying Chicago yet.
I'll buy Chicago after next week.
I will buy Chicago when.
No, I won't. No, I won't. Never mind. No, I won't.
Okay, so matter of fact, let's go ahead and pull this up, and I'm gonna tell you the games that they have to win. You tell me if you agree or disagree.
Okay.
Looking at their schedule, I was gonna say, come on, internet, don't mess with me now.
I got the schedule. I got the schedule. I did some printing.
So they pretty much got a cakewalk. What's looking to be a cakewalk.
Because they
They
already
have
here's
they
the
have
thing.
to beat. They have to beat. Because I don't know what's going to show up. I am going to say that they have to beat the Giants. They have to beat the Giants. They have to beat the Steelers. They have to beat the Eagles, and they have to beat the Packers twice. And they will definitely have to beat the Lions whenever they play them, which they've already lost to them once.
And they're not gonna beat the Lions. Not with the way if they come back and if they keep on playing it the way that they have been and keep playing balanced, they'll have a shot. But I just don't.
I
want to see more.
ultimately
I'm with you. I want to see more. I do want to see more with them for. I'm just took a. You know how as a kid you used to take the straw in the Kool-Aid and put your finger over the straw and just kind of like drop a drop of it on your tongue. That's where I'm at with Chicago right now because they do look good, but
but against who though? The two teams that they lost to was not only divisional, but also two teams that had defenses that were problems. As soon as they faced the first team that defense wasn't a problem, they beat the brakes off of them. The Raiders defense is hot and cold, so they only beat them by one. The Commanders is hot and cold, so they only beat them by one. The Saints, we're pretty much figuring that everybody that they play is a win, and what do you know? They blow them out. So you got two blowouts against teams whose defenses is kind of. You got two losses. One was close, week one against the Vikings. The other, it wasn't even close.
No,
against the Lions, and you got to play them again. So anybody, in my opinion, with a defense that's like that, which no matter what the Giants' offense is playing like, Now, when their offense is playing better, we know what their defense looks like. When their defense starts falling off because they spending too much time on the field, they have a defense that you can't have them spending too much time on the field, where they can't just get you right off on if they can't get you right off consistently on the third and out, the Giants are in trouble. So I will say that about the Giants, just what I observed.
I just realized that Houston-Seattle game doesn't kick off until 10 o'clock. Who is going to stay up on a Monday night until 1 o'clock in the morning watching football?
Guilty.
I'll catch the back end of it. That's just, Jesus Christ. Are you serious? The hell? Damn.
Yeah, and the sad part is that they started it. I don't understand why they didn't do like they did last week.
Where it was 7 and 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
you can
like
have a 5
7
o'clock
and 8
in
or
the evening game.
7 and 8 or 7 and 9. Yeah,
right. You can have a 5 o'clock in the evening game in Seattle. I mean, come on. Oh, who's hurt? Oh shoot!
Yeah,
Evans is hurt.
I told you you didn't want to come back. I told you. I said don't bring him back if you don't have to. And he caught the ball. And that pain kicked in as he was rolling over. That's why he let go of the ball.
Gibbs has scored, and Amon-Ra has a score.
Yeah.
He tried to get up. Oh, great. Come on.
As much as I hate to say it, I told you so.
Oh, I wasn't disputing that. But I'm like, come on. He tries to fight through it. Okay, so Ibuka's in there though, so we'll see what they can do to come back up. He's walking off, but he's walking off real gingerly.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying, because
leg or was it his head?
It looked like he landed on his shoulder.
No, he's woozy. That's concussion.
Well, yeah, because the way he landed, it was his shoulder and his head that hit the ground, and he rolled.
Yeah, he looked like a drunk night. Yeah. All right. Let's roll in this, man, because Jesus Christ. Head to head, I got you on the Rams game with Jacksonville. We said that one. You got me on Cleveland and Miami. Miami, if they don't fire that guy, which they just they're not going to fire.
Yeah, they've already said they're not firing him.
I'm gonna send you what I'm gonna send you what Brand Warmer put up there for it. That made me crack up laughing when I seen it. Because when I seen it, I just started laughing like, what the heck?
Yeah, I knew. I thought about that defense. Oh, damn it. One time I was trying to have faith in my team. Anyway, they need to do a complete house cleaning. And when I say a complete house cleaning, I don't mean just coaches and players. I mean, they need to do a complete house cleaning. And whoever whoever the owner is, the coach will need to know, we will start winning here, or you won't be here.
But that's the problem. Miami's owner is more along the lines of, I want the show than I want the wins.
Yeah,
and we can't and the crazy, and you can't get rid of owners. That's the problem. So as long as he's the owner that wants the show instead of the wins,
you can. The question is how, because remember what just happened in Washington.
And right, but that's because he did stuff that he wasn't supposed to do and he got caught. He got forced out because he did some shit. So I can get that from there. But Miami, they're not giving, after Huizinga sold it, he's not gonna give that up.
Right.
And as long as he doesn't give it up, they'll have taste of wins, but they won't never be on the Buffalo, New England level up there. And it's sad to think of it that way, but Uh, it's going to be to where they're gonna have to figure out something because he can't. Mike was that quintessential I'm a player's coach, especially and I'm not being funny when I say this. When they did the whole thing when they showed like how wrapped up, how eccentric he was when they did the spotlight on Thursday Night Football a couple of years back of him driving into there and saying like doing the things that he was doing with that. Yeah, it's cool to be that gimmicky coach in the beginning, but how long before uh that gimmick becomes a part of it? Oh yeah, they just made it official. Seth Rollins got stripped of his world title. Wow. That's about to be
We,
interesting.
yeah, you knew that was.
Yeah, but the way that they're doing it now, there's gonna be a battle royale tonight to see who faces CM Punk for the title at Saturday night's main event. So it's gonna be Braun Breaker winning it, and then Braun Breaker is going to beat CM Punk with the help of Bronson Reed in order to become the next heavyweight champion of the world, and then it's gonna start the whole pathway down the line off of that.
Or because eventually Punk's getting a run.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, if the women in the back, because we were talking about this on my podcast yesterday, that possibly one of the reasons why we haven't seen Brock, even though we saw him look Paul in the face and say that they needed to talk.
And then he announced them at his match
Right.
against Cena.
And then all of a sudden he just completely disappeared, which one could argue, well, maybe he's not showing up until Survivor Series. But that's when she let me know that she had heard that a lot of the women in the back, while he never came up as actually participating, his name coming up in that vent stuff, I guess, has some of the women, unless they,
Mm-hmm.
like I told her, unless they know something that the young lady doesn't know that got said about him, and it's in the back.
Yeah.
There's some reason why the ladies that are currently in the WWE got a problem with Brock, and the question is why.
Still part of that old guard.
So, well, yeah, he's still part of the old guard. Even if I get that part, so is Triple H. Ain't nobody giving Triple H crap. So is Stephanie. Stephanie was Vince's daughter, and we saw how she reacted. I knew that stuff was coming out. There was a hint of truth to it because she disappeared until he got pushed out. Then she came back for a second. Then he came back, and then she disappeared again. And then when he got put out that final time because it got brought up and then he was getting drug into court,
Yeah. That's when
um,
yeah.
and now she's back. So it's got to be something more than that. You know what I'm saying?
It's gotta be.
But
It's gotta be. But it's just still like, mm, I don't know. This whole the whole Brock thing. If you want to get rid of, I think that for the people that they've cut because they saying that there's no space and there's anything else for it to continue to continuously rely on the old guard. And when I say old guard, it's late 2010s to early 2020s and not give these people that are in NXT they're giving their runs, and even the people that have came over and joined NXT that's been in the other companies for a long period of time, and now they over in NXT to jump start to before they go over to the main shows. I don't I don't think it's fair for the up and coming kids. I never thought it. I don't like Ethan Page over there with the North American title, even though he's a good storyteller. I don't like that. I don't like Ricky Saints. I'm sorry. Ricky Saints coming over and all of a sudden winning, touching both belts since he's been NXT. He hasn't even been in NXT for a year.
Yeah, but
But
this
that's
is
Cody's boy.
this that and this is not his first rodeo in the WWE either.
But see, that's what I'm saying. But even with that being said, let's call a spade a spade. Will we know who Ricky Saints was if he didn't have the run that he had in AEW? No.
I would because I saw him do his run in TNA, but I digress.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. And that's before, but that was before
Af-
TNA just got TNA just came up and got put as a B, as pretty much the B plus class with NXT running in TNA.
right. Because when NXT was just was basically Evolve.
Yeah.
Um, Ricky was over there then.
Yeah.
And there were people that knew of his potential, but it just didn't pan out. So they let him go. Ricky
But
was
he
pissed. He went over to TNA and he started showing out. And even TNA, they let him show out a little bit, and then even over there he kind of fell off for whatever reason, and then all of a sudden he popped up in AEW, and then everybody was excited because they knew what he always was, and then AEW actually let him. It took him a while. It still took him
they
a
let him be
while,
the
but
Rock Jr.
but they did eventually let him do his thing, that everybody always knew he was capable of. And so really he was kind of like he was Cody. I could see why they became friends, because technically he was Cody. It was, everybody knew that he had talent, but it never seemed to pan out. And then all of a sudden, uh, and then all of a sudden, people was like, okay, enough's enough. You gotta. He's shown you what he is at this point. Give him his flowers, and that's what they're doing. I can agree with you that I don't like how they did it either. That they did it so quick, because they do it with certain people and then they bury other people, like Asuka and Shinsuke, and why Asuka gotta only carry a title when somebody get pregnant, but you let her go undefeated in NXT.
But like
Yeah,
even
yeah.
with Shinsuke, like Shinsuke coming out saying that his run is getting ready to end. Y'all never really gave Shinsuke what he deserved.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
And so yeah, it no. And I've been screaming out on my show. It's and the ironic part was the episode that I missed because USA started flipping stuff around. So now I can't watch it live anymore for a while. I gotta wait till like the day after, or if they're in Perth, I probably gotta wait till like Monday or Tuesday to watch the prior week's SmackDown.
Right.
And um but I didn't realize that Shinsuke had come back.
Yeah.
So when I brought up Shinsuke's name, uh, Tasha saw the episode. So as soon as she heard her, as soon as I brought up Shinsuke, she just started laughing, and I'm like, "Why are you laughing?" Like, "Oh, well, he came back on SmackDown." It's like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
he came back and then he came back, had a great match, and then got railroaded with the MFTs with every
right,
with
yeah,
that. Like, what was the point of that?
yeah, yeah." And then Tasha got what she wanted, because because Ilya came back. And then, like I told her, I don't want to see him. Like, I don't want to see Ilya facing the MFTs, because for his size, he's gonna give me a better match with Sami Zayn. He's gonna give me a better match with Ray Phoenix.
Yep.
I
And
don't want to see him against Tall Tala. Yeah, he's gonna make the match work, but how many injuries is he gonna sustain because of the size of the person? You got him going against this big muscle bound
Boonga
person. You
boonga.
you you got Ilya going against Braun Breaker, and you're letting Braun Breaker be Braun Breaker. No, that's what messed up Ray. Cause you had him gain weight and get his weight up, and to go against people like the Big Show
Yep.
and people like that, and he stayed injured. It was like no, it's I still respect him. Okay, he won the heavyweight championship. I will always respect that situation, but at the same time, it for what he was always known for, you basically killed the end of his career.
And
That's
he's always been hurt ever since then. So it makes
yeah,
it look like what the heck is the
and
point?
that's why that's why I told her, I said, no, I don't want to see I didn't want to see either. I didn't want to see Penta or Ray Phoenix come over to the WWE. Why? They just gonna get buried for what they're best at,
Well, I
what
mean,
they're doing. They're
Ray
better off at
is
A&W.
Ray. Well, AEW didn't want to pay him.
Yeah,
That was the
and
thing. And wait a minute, is Ray Phoenix hurt? He's
uh,
been off the air for a while.
I don't know, but if he is hurt, then he'd probably be hurt. Then he'd probably be hurt. TNA. Not TNA. If he is hurt, he's hurt because of the MFTs and what happened during that photo shoot.
See, that's what.
So unless he got hurt on something else and they just didn't say anything about it.
Wait a minute, what? I want to transfer to this one. What? Okay. All right. So to wrap up for tonight, we went off of football. We got on wrestling because the announcement with Seth. All right. So recapping so far, you're losing with the Detroit Tampa Bay game. We both
Right.
lost the Atlanta San Francisco game, which actually was a pretty good game. They just Atlanta stopped running the ball. Green Bay and Arizona, we won. We lost Dallas against Washington. That's because Washington didn't play no wide receivers, and Dallas had their wide receiver come back. Indianapolis proved to me an awful lot. Jonathan Taylor is going to be an issue, and the Chargers are the Chargers, which is a team that can't run the ball, that is a running based team. Denver and the Giants, we're never going to talk about that game ever, because that game right there is the quintessential reason of one, you play until the game is over and the clock reaches zero, and two, that game is the quintessential reason why Shedeur Sanders got drafted where he did. But we're not going to go there. Jackson Dart, he's the real deal. Bo Nix showed some moxie coming back in that game. Also, rest in peace to Demarius Thomas, one of the greats. Glad he went into the ring up there in Denver. Definitely
Yeah.
with that. Definitely well deserved with that one.
Yeah.
See here, Carolina and the Jets. Well, we know the Jets was going to jet, and sure as hell they jetted and lost that game. Philadelphia and Minnesota, closer game than what I thought. But hey, Philadelphia could throw the ball. Who knew?
And that's but to me, they're still in the midst of who are they?
I don't think, you know what? I would think that. Here's the reason why I'm not worried. I'm worried, but I'm not too worried about it. When they was running the ball and they wasn't passing it, you heard the receivers bitch him up.
Yep.
The receivers got their passes, but they was winning. That 2-game losing streak made everybody had to sit there and be like, okay, what do we need to do in order to win? And you heard what Saquon said after the game. I don't care. As long as we win it, I don't really care. I'll do what I need to in order to do it, which is the exact opposite of what the receivers were saying in there for it. So if you got it to where Saquon is a compliment to y'all passing the ball and getting away, if it's winning, hey. But I think that with Sirianni, if they passing the ball and they're realizing that it's not working, or they not clicking, and they're not putting enough in the box in order to stop Saquon, you still got Saquon there. So I'm not really worried about it right now.
But that line is also not what it was. That's also the other problem.
And that's the definite part of it.
and I'm surprised that they gave them that call because the rule used to be if the receiver caught it first, then it was a catch for the receiver. But they just did something monumental and basically, which I blame them for. I blame the receiver for not. That's two times that y'all had two turnovers where for some odd reason you catch the ball and you so worried about running down the field that you don't fully secure the ball.
Mm.
Why would you not fully secure the ball? Just like Shepard, I get that you caught the ball. Why are you holding it in both your hands, knowing that you had a defender around you?
Because that's what they do.
It and that whole situation is like, okay, that's part of the reason why I'm losing the decision making. This is why I was telling somebody today, no, I'm not betting on I'm not putting my money on a football game. You're telling me that I'm basically saying that I have enough trust in humans that they're gonna show up and do what they're supposed to do. I don't. Why don't I? Because I sit and I watch them not do it for free. So no, I'm not jumping in on no parlays. I'm not jumping in because I know that there's a chance that I'm gonna lose my money. And okay, you got to pick now. Can y'all at least get a field goal so I can have some kind of feelings that y'all got a shot in winning this and winning this game, please? Thank you. They that surprise blitz got golf rattled, which is what I was thinking, which is why what I was thinking about. Part of the reason why I picked them. I didn't just pick them because they were my team. I picked them because if they could get golf is gonna be golf if you can get pressure on him. It don't have to be all the time. You just hit him a couple of times, and he'll it you and just make sure you're ready because he gonna make some mistakes. That wasn't just luck. What happened? That wasn't just luck, and the fact that all their defense was hurt. That happened to them on that Washington game. You got to watch the game for what it was. Part of it was they was knocking golf around. So, but yeah. So, was there any games that were surprises? And
No.
then we'll get to the picks.
You know what? The only game, the game that was surprising was the freaking Bengals. That game was
Oh
surprising.
yeah,
That
that was 1A for me. But
I
here's a question. Are we sure? Is everybody sure they know what the problem with the Bengals is?
no, no. Because here's the thing. Here's the problem. Here's the problem with the Bengals. Here's the problem with the Bengals.
Okay.
You gave a whole bunch of issues that the Bengals had into into a Thursday night whiteout game against their most hated rivals. And everything that we said was wrong with that team was right for one night. Everything.
Okay.
Their
Now,
they ran the ball. Their
okay.
offensive line blocked. They gave up 2 sacks the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
They threw the ball all over the place. But the one thing that everybody glosses over about the whole thing is something that I told you a couple of weeks ago. I have no worries about what Aaron Rodgers can do. My only worries with Aaron Rodgers was that offensive line going to keep him upright enough for him to do it? And was that defense going to be good enough to keep people from scoring enough to not beat them? And
Okay.
their secondary I rewatched the game in the condensed form, and then I saw some of the breakdowns for it.
Mm-hmm.
Their coaching, and this goes into another conversation that we had. When does your coaching start to fall on deaf ears? You stuck with man-to-man coverage, even though your corners was getting torched. The Bengals ran the exact same play 5 times in a row, 7-yard out to Jamar Chase, and he caught every single one. Didn't matter if you put Darius Slay out there, Jalen Ramsey, the Lord Jesus himself out there. He was catching them all, and you never decided to switch to a too-high zone on there. You never tried to double team him. And when you tried to, by the time you got to the point of trying to, what did they do? They switched and hit a quick slant to Higgins or a sluggo route to Higgins, and he torched him.
And Josivas was actually catching the ball after that in this
killing the middle.
Now, the reason why I said that they still could have won that game is the same reason why my Pats lost that second time to Philly. I get that you wanted to score, but clearly to help out your defense,
you scored too quick.
Warren and Gainwell were working.
Mm-hmm.
I would have bled the brakes out of that clock, just
especially
like I
when
said in that
Philly
game. Right. Especially I mean, and that's why I was mad at that game, because the Bengals played great. But here was the thing that confused me. I don't care what thing you could say about for one night. They hadn't been showing that with Joe for any night.
But that's the whole
problem. And that's the thing that confused me, because I'm like, wait a minute.
It shouldn't have confused you.
Do we have this completely right? Because let's get this straight. This is weird. And the Bengals aren't the first team to do it. Mm-hmm. And this ain't the first time that the Bengals did it. You remember I brought up that whole Jeff Blake Boomer Esiason thing. It was like they had Jeff Blake. They couldn't seem to block the broadside of a barn. All of a sudden, weeks well into the season, Jeff Blake is out. You got to put in Boomer Esiason. All of a sudden, people knew what their job was. And I knew from the end of the game the previous week, which is why I was mad at myself, because while I was picking the Steelers in my head, I was going, you saw the end of that game. You should pick the Bengals. And you saw the second half of that game. You should pick the Bengals. But I didn't. But to see that, no, I'm sorry. If you can do that with Joe Flacco, you can do that with Joe Burrow. And I want to know why everybody in this room who isn't a wide receiver, because the only person that was coming up short in the wide receiving core, Josivas, I need you up front and center and let me know what was going on with you. Because you were doing not Josivas things. Is it the fact that Gesicki was hurt? So now, other than they throw it to fans sometimes, but you're the guy that's been here. You're our trustable guy. What happened to your trustable self in terms of when the ball comes your way, you catch it? You kind of proved me wrong for a couple of weeks, and that was part of the reason why they lost the week before, because he kept dropping the ball. And Joe Flacco didn't let that deter him. He just kept throwing to him. Which, no offense, you're trying to win the game. I'm sorry. Once, okay, it's an anomaly. Twice, excuse me. There might be a third time, but it's gonna be a while. Because I'm trying to win this game.
So I'm pulling it up because I want to see it to make sure that I'm right when I state this with this. But The one thing that I will say when it comes to the Bengals, let's look at their past. You know what? I'm gonna go all seasons. I want to go all seasons in order to take a look at this. What was the number one thing that we were saying about the Bengals at the start of this season that they couldn't do because they are notorious for doing?
They couldn't cover all their problems.
No, they always come out to a slow start.
Oh yeah, that too.
Right. So they came out this season to a 2-0 start, but in that 2-0 start, Burrow got hurt. The importance of having, I think that the importance of having an adequate backup, and we're seeing a lot of teams right now with an adequate, knowledgeable backup that has experience. I get that Jake Browning here's the reason why I'm saying it with this. Because you're seeing to where a lot of the teams, Mac Jones was a legitimate starter for New England that went to go back up over in San Francisco. When he got thrusted into the role of it, he knew how he's been a starter before. He's not just been just a backup his entire career. With Jacoby Brissett in Arizona, he's been a starter before for a team to start out a season. With New England, not a backup on a regular basis for it. You had Jake Browning, who was a quintessential backup. That's all he was, thrown out there and looked like a lost puppy.
Yeah, but he looked like a lost puppy because the line that got Joe hurt, the way they were performing, was the same line he was having to mess with. So he couldn't.
But this is why I'm saying this. This team always starts out slow. It never fails. Even the Super Bowl year, they always start out slow. It seems like they don't start. This seems like the season doesn't start with them until week 5 or week 6. I don't know what it is, and that's part of the reason why I've been calling for their coach's head. Because it happens every single year.
Yeah, but this also falls. So basically, what you're saying is that whole thing that I've been screaming every time me and you have talked since the first time I met you at the school. The reason why I don't like the fact that they got rid of the preseasons. So basically, you're telling you're telling me that they have to get in football swing of things, which I don't. I'm sorry. I can accept that as a possible reason, but I need to know from the players because you literally look like your season is over when your quarterback is hurt. The weeks coming behind it. Then because we get a Super Bowl MVP, he don't get credit for what he did in winning Super Bowls in Joe Flacco. That showed that if you block for him, that he could be successful even in Cleveland, and he's also showed in Cleveland and Indianapolis and his ended time in Baltimore that if you don't have a running game for him and you don't have good adequate blocking for him, that he's not going to perform for you just like a Jake Browning. I want to know. I know part of it was Logan Wilson got benched and they had different people in on the defense. How did that make the whole entire defense look better than it had?
No, that wasn't the thing. I'm gonna tell you the number one thing that happened that went unsung, and I'm glad that it went unsung because people would not have even given it the rite of passage for it anyway. Cam Taylor-Britt was not in that secondary that entire game. He was out injured. They let DJ Turner and them play without can't cover shit out there on the field.
And they benched Logan Wilson from what
and
I
they
saw.
benched Logan Wilson, but if you look at his reps, his reps was just the other one, the rookie got just a little bit slight more reps than Logan Wilson. They let them interchange with it. They didn't take him, he didn't start, but he still got his playing time in there. for it. So it's like they're trying to bring him along in order for him to mesh into it to where if they decide to switch, because part of me thinks once they get rolling with Al Golden's system on a fully with it, and again, I agree with you 100%. There needs to be preseason games. They need to play more in the preseason. They played more in the preseason than they did in the past. That's why part of me that's upset about what happened was that in my head right now, if we didn't have that episode with Jake Browning, where would we have been at? If Burrow wouldn't have got hurt, where we would have been at? Because realistically, you're seeing what it would have been with Joe in this aspect of it with Flacco, because what was Flacco doing beforehand? Flacco was starting and going through the first team reps. He had just got benched. You got to think about it. Flacco was a starter until that last game before he got traded.
And I get it, and I get that, and he got benched because of the offensive, the same level of playing that the Bengals offensive line was doing that ended up getting Joe hurt. And I just, to me, it's a, even if I buy that even if I know part of it was they played the Steelers and the Steelers weren't the normal Steelers. Yes, that was part of it.
But there was the normal Steelers. The Steelers had went up against nobody with that much firepower.
No, when I say that what the normal Steelers that night, the way the run game was working, it normally
that's been Pittsburgh.
It normally it wasn't working the way it did that night. So the fact that they lost, that to me is more on them and the OC than it is on
the
Bengals.
I will give you that. I'll give you that one. I will definitely give you that.
Because like I said,
they should have.
Warren and them haven't been as successful. And I might need to go back at the numbers to make sure that I see this, but I know any game I've watched, that was the most successful that I've seen them. So let me say it that way. That's the most successful that I've seen them.
Because I knew that he had gotten better. That Bengals run defense will make anybody look like it's Bo Jackson running through them in the 90s.
And that's why it pissed me off when I started seeing them trying to run Gainwell up the middle, trying to run Warren up the middle, when that's not where they were getting their yards at.
No,
and I'm like,
because all they were trying to do was cheat the safeties up to try to go over the top.
Right.
That's why I said they did not. Once they got down by 10, that whole playbook, it seems like in the NFL, the only time where a team has gotten down by 10 and that playbook didn't get thrown out the window was Denver yesterday. Everybody else that got down by 10 abandoned everything.
And the only reason that happened in that situation was because Sean Payton understands that
exactly
he can't make it Bo versus whoever the quarterback is.
Exactly. But everybody else for some reason thinks that don't matter if it's Cam Ward or what's his name?
Bryce Young or
any of them. They want to sit up there and make it a quarterback pass fest, when if your running game is controlling the line of scrimmage and controlling it, let them control it. Don't go against common logic. And I just pulled it up. So the Bengals that Super Bowl year went in their first 7 games, they were 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, 4-2. They were 5-2 that Super Bowl year, their first 7 games. That's the quickest start that they done had since that Super Bowl year. Because that next year they went 12-4, and that's the year that they went to that's the year that they get to the AFC Championship. Damn, they went 12-4 for real?
Yeah.
Yeah, they went 12-4 that year, but listen to how this season was. Loss against Pittsburgh, loss against Dallas, one against the Jets, so 1-2, one against Miami, 2-2, loss against Baltimore, 2-3, beat New Orleans to go 3-3, and beat Atlanta to go 4-3. So the first 7 games, they went 4-3. The rest of the season, they went 8-1. 2023 was the year that Burrow got hurt with the wrist. I think that was the year he got hurt with the wrist. Go back. Hold on. Making sure I pull this up right. Not 2026. We're not that far ahead now. I'm going into the future. They're about to tell me that the Bengals won the Super Bowl. 2023. 0-1, 0-2, 1-2, 1-3, 2-3, 3-3, 4-3. They was 4-3 after the first 7 games, but they lost 3 out of their first 4 games that season. And it was not, and this is with Burrow was out there. 24-3 lost to Cleveland. 27-24 lost to Baltimore. The 19-6 win against the Rams in the Super Bowl rematch. And then 27-3 that following week against Tennessee. Like, what are you doing? What's going on? And that's the season they finished 9-8. They never start out. The only season that they started out well was the season that they won the Super Bowl, but on the back end of it, they was losing games. Their best season that they had, that 12-4 season, they was horrible that first half of the season. I don't know what it is. I don't know, and it seems like it's in their psyche to where the beginning of the season, it's like, okay, what are we doing? Oh, we're supposed to be blocking. Oh, shoot. Burrow's hurt. Damn. Jake's up. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. We've been playing football for a couple of weeks now. What are we doing, guys? Hey, how's it going? Oh, God, hey, guys, we got a football game today. Oh, shoot, we got Pittsburgh. Let's go. And then you get what you get. And it's something to where I don't understand it. And it's with Zach Taylor. I don't know what. Somebody needs to try to have some type of talk with him or what to sit up there and say the same intensity that you find somewhere around week 6, week 7, figure out how to turn that shit on at the beginning of the week like you did in 2022.
Thanks for protecting the ball this time, Shepard. First down. Anyway,
because I'm not. Am I saying that this is about to be a run to where they could propel themselves?
It could be.
It could be. Because here's the problem. Because here's the thing.
And then what do you do? What do you do? Because I saw on the injury report that crap. What did I do with it? There it is. I saw on the injury report. Let me scroll down to the Bengals.
Burrow's trending to be back in December.
Yeah, December 14th to be exact.
So here's where I stand on that. The only way I would let Joe play is if Joe can show me that he is at 100% with everything that he's doing. And here's the reason why. Am I banking on Flacco to be like this for another couple of years? If I am, Flacco, thank you for your services, Jake Brown, and I will keep Joe Flacco as my backup. That way I know my offense won't miss a beat. And I think Flacco would want to be somewhere where he legitimately might have a shot at another title. But Flacco has even said coming into here, he knows this is not his team. He knows it's Joe's team. Joe being on the sidelines throughout that entire game in his ear during the game and giving him the tidbits of it, which has also been under the radar. Joe had on a headset on the sidelines the entire game. So it's not like he's not involved in it at all with it as well. But if you know for a fact, putting him out there if they're rolling like they could be, and let's call a spade a spade, the AFC is wide open. You got Indianapolis as the cream of the crop. You got Kansas City coming up. And then after that, who do you trust? Buffalo, not that much right now. I trust
Kick
New
the
England
field
more than I
goal.
trust Buffalo. Huh?
I said, just kick the field goal. Just kick the field goal.
They're going to go for it.
I know they are.
They're
Jesus
down by
Christ.
11. I told you.
I watched
If they're
so many teams like completely screw themselves over. There was a college game that I watched where literally they had 4 possessions, right?
mm-hmm.
Only one of them could they have not gotten a field goal, and the game wouldn't have been as bad as they thought. And it ends up turning into a blowout. But the commentators kept commenting on the fact of what would have happened if y'all had to just kicked the field goals when y'all had the chance. And it's like, well, duh. I mean, I get it. You have to. I get it. Now it's a game of chance, and it's all about the numbers. Quit feeding into everything. I get. I get that something is an option and something just because something is an option, just like we talked about with paths. Just because there's a bunch of paths, don't mean that you have to use every single path you see.
Oh,
Especially not all the time.
but
Going
to
for
me,
2. There's teams going for 2 when all they got to do is kick a field goal. Dude, just kick the extra point.
but see, here's the problem with that though. The extra points haven't been automatic.
In the NFL, well, in the NFL, no, but in college, it's not as bad as it is in the NFL. The NFL, I get.
No. I'll give you that one. No, it's been that bad. Shit, they started that bad last season.
Thank you. And he protected the ball when he was surrounded by people. And now we got ourselves a game.
Touchdown.
Yeah, it's 14-10.
Yay, score.
Jesus Christ, man. Come
Ibuka?
on.
Who scored? Ibuka?
No, Johnson. And he was hurdling people. He wasn't playing. He was like, no, we getting in this end zone right now.
Oh shit! It's 9:00. All right, picks.
Yeah.
God damn it! I'm sitting up here. I'm sitting up here thinking like I ain't got some type of work to do for the last hour I'm here. All right. So Thursday night game, Minnesota at the Chargers.
This one's gonna be hard. Because both of them are like in the middle of something. I'm gonna go with Minnesota. But that game could go either way, unfortunately.
I'm gonna take the Chargers, but I'm not too keen on it. I'll say that I'm not too keen on that one.
I'm picking Minnesota because I have more faith in them because they have less injuries and less figuring it out to do than the Chargers.
Yeah, I just hope the Chargers don't wear the gold jerseys. Miami at Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm picking Atlanta, but I will say this. At this point, Penix is looking like he's about to fall into the Brissett, Kyler Murray for me.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
When the line is holding up, he looks great.
Good.
But when that line ain't holding up,
it's a mess.
Yeah,
and
then the look on his face, he does a lot of smiling. I don't like all the smiling, especially if you miss a pass or whatever happens, and then I see you smiling. I get that you're supposed to have a positive, upbeat attitude and maintain it, but the more hits he started suffering by the end of that game, and then he came up limp. Yeah, he wasn't smiling as much anymore. Like, yep, see, that's why you should have had a serious look on your face, trying to take care of business. That right there. You gotta be in the zone. I get it. Most of the people that are in the zone, they win and they win championships. I'm just saying. Just saying, I get it. You can't be. It would be nice to be a little loose, a little laid back. I could use some of that in my life, and who knows? Maybe I might be able to take a chance and
Place a bet.
take a chance. No, take a chance to play the lottery. No, no. You ain't roping me into that. No, I would literally have so much money that I didn't care what I lost to basically get on the betting the parlays and betting on teams like and betting on the I had a guy that I was talking to. He was completely confused. He's like, "You bet on the parlays?" I'm like, "Nope." He's like, "You bet on the spread?" I'm like, "No, don't bet on that either." He's like, he's like, "What do you bet on? What are you doing?" It's like, "I do it for fun. See how many I can get right." That just seemed foreign to him. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it will mess with him on that one. I definitely will see that one. All right, next one. Jets at Bengals.
I swear to God, I swear for Jesus, if y'all mess around and that line all of a sudden remember what they've been all season, and I lose this game going with the Bengals.
Hear them Bengals growling. All right, Cleveland at New England.
I'm going with my Pats.
Yeah, please don't bet on New England anymore. I mean, please don't bet on Cleveland anymore. Just don't. Just don't.
But you know what? And me and you talked about it. There's some simple ways. It's not completely simple, but the defense would play better, especially with Myles Garrett, if they're not spending as much time. When the offenses is clicking, even teams that haven't looked that great, and you've seen it. When the
Yeah,
offense is clicking, the defenses play better. It doesn't matter how garbage they are. If the defense spends less time on the field, they're more energetic and excited. And that was another thing that came out of that Bengals game. When the offense was actually operating, not everybody can be that no matter what the defense is, we up on one. That's the way Ray and them, that's the defenses that Ray and them used to lead. That's
yeah,
why that's why the Ravens was such a problem. Like, man, how are they winning? The offense is more or less chemistry wise, they're crap. They're like, yeah, but they got Ray on the sideline, basically letting it be known. It don't matter what they playing, like, go in there and you kill your man, or you will see me later. No, you okay. All right, this is what we are. This is what we are as a defense. Uh, you know, and that's got to be part of it too. The mental aspect of it. There's got to be like some real leaders that no matter what, we are who we are, and this is who we are.
man, it's gonna be ugly. That's gonna be an ugly one. I just think
All
that
right.
Cleveland just is where they are. All right,
Yeah.
the Giants at Philadelphia.
Wow. You know what? They better not let me down this time. I'm going with the Eagles.
I'm going with the Eagles because I'd be a betrayal if I didn't say it. I was gonna ride it out. Darn it. All right, so next one. Buffalo at Carolina. Fresh off the bye.
Jesus. I'm gonna pick the Bills, but they got me worried.
They got me worried too, because it seemed like all of a sudden they always forget that they're a passing, that they're a running team. Uh Chicago at Baltimore. And
This
they've
game I
already
do not
said
appreciate.
they've already said it does not look like he's playing this week.
I don't even think according to what he's been watching on the field, I don't think he's motivated to come back. So I'm gonna go with the Bears because as me and you talked about, um, if they can't get pressure on Caleb and make him squirrely with the happy feet, you're not beating Chicago.
They can't
That
make
I,
they
I,
can't they can't make the happy feet come out of a penguin in a movie right now. Um so yeah, I'm with you, Chicago. I don't trust Baltimore. Baltimore is trending toward the number one pick in the draft. San Francisco at Houston.
I am not going to make the same mistake I made last week. We are going with the
The
49ers.
49ers.
That's what's in my head. I believe in Robert Saleh.
I believe in Salah.
Right.
Um, Tampa Bay at New Orleans.
Tampa.
Yeah, I can't. I have no faith in the Saints right now. Dallas at Denver.
Mm, mm, mm. Quarterback makes me want to pick Dallas. The defense of what
Defense
they're
makes you want to pick Denver.
capable.
Yep.
Mm. Yeah. Offensively, trust wise, I trust Dallas more. But defense wise, especially at the end of a game, I trust, yeah. Mm. And I'm guessing seeing that they're down by 11, that the Bucks must have went for two and didn't get it. Um,
Wait, the score does this show?
yeah. The Lions just scored again, so it's 20-9 instead of 20-10. And so
First guard. Oh God! Please tell me it was Gibbs again.
yeah, it was Gibbs again.
Hey, Yippee Skippy.
All right, Dallas, Denver. You know what? I don't think that if it happens again, I don't think that Dallas is going to do what the Giants did. Um, so the only way I think that they're going to beat Dallas is if they beat them outright. And with how iffy Bo Nix has been being right now, I'm gonna go with Dallas. Because if they mess around and let Dallas get them 19 zip, they're not winning that game. They're not. They're not winning that game. Matter of fact, they wouldn't have won last week. You could say whatever you want. I would have lost that game had Dart not thrown that interception, which I was trying to figure out when you have Tracy and you have Scatterboo, what was he doing throwing so much anyway? He had the lead. And it was clear that you needed to slow that offense down by keeping them off the field. How do you keep them off the field? Running the ball. You had two runners. You got Tracy back as a backup to Scatterboo, so you don't have to run him the whole time. So you could have literally went, okay, let Scatterboo run a couple. You need a break? Come on, Tracy. Let him run about two or three.
This
All right,
making
come on,
my
Scatterboo.
stomach hurt. This game is making my stomach hurt. Because I trust Dallas's offense, but I don't trust their defense.
Yeah. That you don't know which D is gonna show up.
And it's Denver at home. I'm going with Denver. I'm just gonna take the risk. I'm gonna go with Denver. They burnt me
Okay.
last week. Let's see what we got. All right, Tennessee at Indianapolis.
Oh, Colts.
Green Bay at Pittsburgh. Sunday night football. The Green Bay going up against their old quarterback.
God, I am looking so forward to that game. I will definitely be home. Wow. Mm, you know what? I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh because as much as I hate to say it, and nobody will admit it, Love is not it. If you can get any kind of pressure on him, he's not it.
And
They got
because of that, and the fact that they couldn't get any pressure with the sieve that is the Bengals offensive line against Joe Flacco, who couldn't run, I'm going with Green Bay.
I don't think that the blocking for Green Bay is going to be what it was. Not only did the Bengals choose the right way to block, everybody did their job. And it's like everybody literally did their job exactly to the letter of what it was supposed to be done. And it worked. And because of what I saw against Arizona, I don't believe that Green Bay is up to task, which is sad because they even have Brandon Jacobs. So um if Pittsburgh is smart, they're more run than worrying about the pass. Keep Love on the sideline and keep the defense on keep their defense on the sideline so that they can go all out when they get in, because if they only sack him 2 times but they touching him every other time, Love's gonna get squirrely.
True.
So and that's why that game was so close with Arizona to where they almost lost it.
I just with Micah teeing off, I don't know. That's gonna be I just don't think. I think Pittsburgh showed
Well,
their true colors.
that's what helped Arizona, and it didn't even come until the end of the game.
Yeah.
It literally came like, so wait, for 3 quarters, you couldn't get pressure on Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
For 3 or 4 quarters. You can't do that with Aaron. Aaron will light you up if you can't get to him until the fourth quarter. The game
Yeah.
will basically be over at that point.
Yeah. I feel you on that one.
So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But yeah, I got the Steelers, and
And I
then
got and then Monday night we got Washington at Kansas City.
uh Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs. I don't trust
Yeah.
Washington is shown. Washington,
Yeah,
I didn't stuck my neck out too much.
I don't know what I don't know. I would love to know what went into. I think you explained it already, but I still got to know the logic, because running wise, I liked Robinson,
I
and
don't I don't know what turned off Robinson to it. Merritt again, if you go back and look at their preseason games for it, Merritt seemed like he
yeah,
had
but
more off the ball.
this preseason,
I
bro.
know, but he was running with the ones and he was doing fine with it. That's
Was he
why
running
it's like,
against the ones?
yeah, and he looked like he was fine. Brian Robinson Jr. is out in San Francisco now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Because I remember hearing his name this past weekend. Because
He's got
they
36 carries for 144 yards so far this season.
Yeah, because they're mostly he's mostly a backup, and until what's his name gets hurt, he won't be officially he won't be doing much. Although I think they should have him doing more so that they can try to make sure that they're gonna keep McCaffrey throughout the season. I like McCaffrey. I've always liked McCaffrey, but I don't like the fact that there's always that potential that if he does as much as he wants to do, I'm gonna turn around, and whether it be this year or next year, I'm gonna be looking at not having him.
Right. That is true.
So that's ridiculousness. So and it won't help me keep a consistency in terms of winning. But yeah, those are our picks, and I made sure I wrote them down, and I'm gonna put them under.
Oh, I got so here's the thing.
What's up?
So I've been printing. So I'm about to be scanning and uploading. I printed out the entire season. Trying to write it down
Wow.
on this thing constantly was getting,
Right.
and you see what happened to this thing when the dog got a hold of it.
Oh
So
wow.
Yeah, so no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna keep it to where I'm gonna update the picks that we didn't had on there for it. It's one for every single week, and I'll go back through all the way through week 7 and tally them up and have it to where it's all part of it when I post them. It'll just be a straight upload scan. That way it'll be in there and be done. That way I'll write them down. I check off if we was right or wrong, highlight whatever we need to do. Scan that bad boy, put it up there. This is our picks. Yay! Get through it with it. Trying to think simpler with some of it because it's a lot at the same time with it.
Yeah,
All right,
especially
but
for everything that you do. So yeah, it's been another crazy week. We went off. We was all over
we
the
went off.
place.
We hit the WWE. We hit college football. We hit baseball. We hit UFC. We hit. What didn't we hit? The only thing we
Life
didn't hit.
stories, things got real in terms of like be careful who you call yourself trying to get morally real with. Don't be calling them
Boy,
no hater. And
don't be sitting up there talking about some old. Hey, yeah. You talking about that? Let me pull up this message that you sent. Oh, come up there.
That's how humans get themselves in trouble every time.
Man,
The
constantly.
dudes sit up there, they'll have a secret, they'll get mad at each other, start throwing dozens and putting each other business out in the street. Next thing you know, both their wives or their girlfriends want to kill them. So
Be like, nah, it's over for that one. Did he throw a flag after the game? Wow. What? Okay, so to wrap this up, Dre Greenlaw is suspended for next week's game against Dallas for unsportsmanlike conduct toward a referee following the win against the Giants. He chased down after referee Brad Allen and verbally threatened him after he tried to leave the field, and they posted the video of it on X.
and 9 times out of 10 the rest be mic'd up because you remember that one that went viral because the player said something to him as he was trying to talk into the microphone.
It says the NFL said Greenlaw violated Rule 12, Section 3, Article 1B, which prohibits the use of abusive, threatening, or insulting language or gestures to opponents, teammates, officials, or representatives of the league. He has 3 days to appeal his suspension under the collective bargaining agreement. If he does not appeal or the suspension is upheld, he will sit out the Broncos practices this week and Sunday's home game against the Dallas Cowboys. The suspension will also cost him a game check in the amount of $192,778. Sunday marked Greenlaw's first game with Denver after he signed a 3-year, $31.5 million contract in March. He did not play in the preseason or in the first 6 games of the regular season because of thigh injuries. So your first game out, you decided you want to mouth off at a ref after a game that you just won in a miraculous comeback and on a field goal. While your team is celebrating, you're chasing down a referee to sit up there and say F you or whatever else you said in there. And now you cost yourself almost $200,000 on your first day back of work.
And your team's defense is going to be affected a little bit with your absence. They should be okay because it was your first game, but still. And this is why I say you got to be careful about letting people be who they want to be. You got to let them be who they want to be, but let them know. Now, I see that you got this on your be who you want to be board. If I find out you doing that, we're going to have a problem. Everything else I'm cool with. That right there? No.
What did we start this whole conversation about? Why is the U.S. falling behind on so many different things? Because it's the chutzpah instead of the umph. The chutzpah. You sat there and you chased down a referee after your team just came back from a miraculous comeback. And the video,
And
when you see the video if it's on ESPN, when you click on the X link for it and you see the video, you literally see his entire team going this way and celebrating and carrying the kicker off like, yay, we won. And you see this run over here saying, and you see the ref throw out the flag in the middle of it. You think it's confetti coming down. No, it's a flag after the gun.
Yeah, because I got confused when you said that, because I started looking at the TV and it was on commercial. I'm like, who throwing the flag? We in commercial.
And this has been another episode of United World of Sports.
Dante Suave, Mystah Jay. Till next week, everybody.
Have a good week, because I'm just like, what? How you get fired and fined on your day? How you get sent home after the game?
Kind of like the Bengals game. You lost the game in the middle of a stoppage of play. Hello, Jory Porter.
Good night, everybody.
Porter. Good night.
Later.
Later.
I can hear it call.